Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Otaku Oasis Podcast. My name is Matthew, and I'm here with
Joshua.
And it has definitely not been a very long time. No, sir. We are on top of our stuff.
Well, I mean, they don't know that we have an episode that we still have put aside at the moment.
Like, please tell me that's not the live action Netflix one. Please tell me it's not live action One Piece that's sitting on my heart.
You're goddamn right.
It's live action One Piece. It's the live action. I never posted that.
Yeah.
Look, this is the third time that we have talked about me forgetting about it, and it is the third time that I have remembered that I forgot about it.
Hey, don't worry. If we want to, we can just post it afterwards or wait until we do Lockdown, because we may or may not have very much suggested in that video that would come kind of in turn with that.
Yeah, but we also did say that we also did heavily state that this came out right after the end of live action One Piece came out. Whoopsies.
Yeah, I mean, that's something we can always address later. But anyways.
Alright, so if you can't tell by the title and the thumbnail, we're doing Hazbin Hotel, the #1 show on Amazon right now, and I think definitely the #1 animated show out right now.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, honestly, I hope this is a sign that we might see a lot more indie titles get picked up and become more mainstream, because that would be awesome.
Well, as long as it doesn't involve overworking animators like a certain Japanese company that I'm not going to mention that may or may not have very much overworked their staff on a certain particular season 2. Cough cough, Jujutsu Kaisen, cough cough.
Is it start with M and rhymed with Nappa?
Yeah, it's pretty on the money. Well, I have no idea who it could be though.
No idea. I don't have the brain power to put that one together.
Nope. Yeah.
At least I hope this stops the seeming trend of deletion of very popular animated works. Cough cough, Owl House, cough cough, Infinity Train, cough cough. What was the one? What was the other Netflix one that was really good? It was about this government agency thing. Inside Job. Oh god, that was such a good show. Why did they have to cancel that?
Yeah, I mean, there were even some like that Netflix cut early. Like, I feel like BoJack Horseman probably should have had like another season or so, because that last season felt rushed.
I really hope that this show actually shows them that, hey, people like this stuff. Please stop deleting it or cutting it or canceling it.
Like, just give it the time that it needs, but businesses be like that.
It Scooby Dooby Doo. But yeah, I think this is a step in the right direction. And I hope this means good things for the future.
Yeah. But yeah, just getting into it, I guess. Just general thoughts overall.
This has to be one of the best pieces of media I've digested in a very, very, very long time. Sometimes I like to think that maybe I'm not a theater kid anymore, and then shows like this come out that just remind me that yes, I will always be a theater kid.
Yeah, I can't say like took quite as high claim as you, but it was very good. I'm like I just also watch a lot of other things, so I'm like,
no, that's absolutely fair.
Bit more. I'm like, I have a bit more to like draw on. Like, there's because there's Free Ren finishing up this season, which has been really good, and then what started up this season, what is it? It's English title is Delicious and Dungeon. It just does not sound like proper English to me, so I'm just gonna call it Dungeon Meshi. That one's also been pretty good.
Yeah, I think part of the reason that I'm so enthralled with this is I saw the pilot for this when it came out back in 2019. So I've been...
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of people, like, the anticipation for it is, like, definitely what also helped and also, I think, hurt in some ways, depending on,
Yeah,
like, if
I
you were
think...
maybe perhaps overhyping it.
Yeah,
But
I think... And there were some people that... And there are some criticisms going from the pilot to the show that are valid. I do think that Alistair... I wouldn't say Alistair's voice, but the effects that they used for Alistair's voice were a lot more interesting in the pilot. I like that he had more of a consistent radio noise that was there, and they made him sound more creepy when he needed to be. But
I don't think it was necessarily done bad in the show.
I wouldn't say
like
it was
that
done bad. I'm not saying it was bad. I'm just saying I can see why some people may prefer it to others. I don't really know where I stand on it.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
I do. This is probably the only time I'm going to touch on it. I do feel bad for the original cast, but I have done some digging into it, and from some interviews or stuff that they've posted, it sounds like it was always going to be like this. That Vivzie always wanted a Broadway cast, and it was kind of like when she hired them originally, she's like, "Hey, I would like you guys to do this for now, but if I ever get the chance," she did mention that she might replace them. It does suck,
Yeah,
but I do understand. It's not like it came out of left field.
like, yeah.
But for the cast we got, I love it.
Oh yeah, no, it's really good. Like, yeah, I mean, like comparing, like, I think some voices just like, not to say that the pilot voices are bad by any means, just like,
oh yeah, no, some voices definitely had upgrades.
Like, I think like Husk is like, I think like, I mean, I know he only had like one line in the pilot, but I think it's like,
you're absolutely right. I much preferred the. I'm sorry, you just can't go wrong with what is it? Keith David. You can't go wrong with Keith David.
Yeah.
I'm kind of bummed he really only had one song.
Well, I mean, you know, if you wanted to go listen to a few more of his singing chops, I mean, you know, he's in The Princess and the Frog.
Absolutely,
so.
I do love that everyone keeps trying to make like you know, there's the whole trend with AI voices, and AI is a topic that I'm not touching because that is, oh my lord. Anyways, but everyone keeps doing like Alistair AI covers of Friends on the Other Side, and everyone's like, but you have Keith David right there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Yeah, this is a star-studded cast, and I love it. Like, what, we got Erica Henningsen, Jeremy Jordan, Keith David, Alex Brightman. I know, I can't remember his name, but the guy who played Blaine on Glee is in it for one episode. What is his name? Darren Criss.
Yeah, I'm like, isn't there like one of the actors from Supergirl, like one of the voice actors?
Oh yeah, Jeremy Jordan.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's Lucifer.
I was forgetting which one it was. Like,
yeah, I mean, I remember, yeah,
like...
he's the guy from Supergirl, but he's also Jack Kelly. Every time I hear him sing, I only hear Light Yagami.
Wait, did he do that, or?
Yeah, Jeremy Jordan was the guy that did the English voicing for the One Piece musical.
What? The One Piece musical?
You haven't? Oh, buddy, I'm showing you this when we're done. Yes, there was a One Piece musical.
Well, I mean, I know like there's been a lot of stage adaptations for One Piece and whatnot.
There was never I don't think it ever got the official run, but Jeremy Jordan did the voice on the English English album.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's real good. Yeah, that is. I wish it was like fully out. It's only on YouTube from what I can tell. But yeah, I wish there was an actual official release of that because that is a killer soundtrack. Anyways, back to the actual killer soundtrack that we're talking about. Back to Hazbin. Yes, we got Darren Criss is in it. Was there any other massive names that I recognized? Christian Borle, I think his name, the guy that did Shakespeare and Something Rotten. He's Vox, I think. Those are the big names that I can think of off the top of my head. Oh, and then there's one other Broadway lady. The guy that did Rosie, or the girl that did Rosie, she was also in Beetlejuice. I don't remember the character's name though. But
yeah, that's totally fair.
All right, so Hazbin. Yeah, what were your thoughts on it? I guess that's the one thing I haven't really asked you yet. Is what did you think?
Overall, I thought it was really good. I really enjoy character-driven stories, so obviously this show works really well for me.
Yeah.
And I'd like the subtle world building as well. It's definitely I mean, at least from what little's able to be gathered just from Hazbin Hotel, I'm sure it's further expanded on Hell of a Boss and whatnot. But which we should probably cover sometime in the future as well.
I think we should wait for the next episode to come out. I think it'll be out within a month or two.
Yeah.
And then I think
will that be the season 2 finale?
I think it will be. Otherwise, either way, it's a very important episode. I think it's going to be a very character-heavy focus one, focusing on Blitz and his relationship.
Okay, is that I'm guessing that probably is a character in the
Sorry, you haven't seen it. Yeah, it's one of the protagonists and his quasi relationship. It's going to be heavily focused on how that relationship is really not great for either of them.
Got it. Gosh, yeah, that. I mean, that probably sounds about right for what goes on in that world.
Yeah, I mean,
I can think of one character in Hell of a Boss.
Yeah, it is really interesting. These both of the shows, they feed off of balls to the walls sometimes. But then you get these scenes of these very heavily emotional scenes that you aren't ready for. You go into Hazbin expecting, all right, this is probably gonna be religious trauma for some people, and then you get hit with the freaking daddy issues in episode 5. No one was expecting that. That hurt. But yeah, I do like that this show can do both. It can be the kooky crazy, but it can also be the very sweet and very emotional, and it can touch on some very harsh topics. I think if you haven't seen the show, there is some episode 4 specifically is pretty heavy.
Yeah, that one specifically, I mean, they even have the warning in front of the episode because it is
a lot.
Very much. Yeah, it is a very dark episode.
Yeah, and
It's very good.
I do appreciate that they keep it dark. That it's not played for jokes. There is no real joke about it. It's not supposed to be played for a laugh. It's serious. It's bad. It's treated with the urgency that it needs for what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. No. It is treated very, very respectably. I think honestly, a lot of the things in the show that are just kind of even maybe some of the lighter things that are touched upon and whatnot, I think are done pretty tastefully.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to get into the plot?
So getting into it. Yeah. I guess so how should we tackle the pilot, since that's kind of it's not entirely canon, but it's semi-canon at least, if I remember.
Yeah, I think
seeing a quote.
Yeah, basically the pilot, for what it basically sets up everything. It's kind of what's a good example? It's kind of like the issue zeros in manga, the kind of Jujutsu Kaisen 0. It is kind of setting up everything, but may not be canon or important to what's going on. I think did you say that's a fair assessment?
Yeah, I think Jujutsu Kaisen is really the only one that has like very much like its prototype stage also being very much linked into like the main story.
Yeah.
Like One Piece has its prototype stages, but those prototype stages were literally just to showcase the idea, and more of that it wasn't already basically greenlit to start in the Shonen Jump manga. They just wanted basically proof that you could gather popularity from it.
Yeah. But yeah, so really the pilot, just to sum it up, is Charlie, Charlie Morningstar, the protagonist, is introducing the idea of the extermination, how heaven comes down to hell and kills a lot of sinners to try and keep hell from being overpopulated out of fear of an uprising occurring. And we learn that Charlie has a plan to open a hotel that is there to rehabilitate sinners and make them heaven worthy, so that they can go to heaven and be spared from the extermination. But it's hell, and not a lot of people really care about that. They are more than fine just killing and torturing and being
just
sin.
living potentially the way that a lot of them have for probably decades.
Yeah, but
at minimum.
Yeah, and as Charlie I don't want to say makes a fool of, but pitches it, no one's willing to listen.
I mean, she tries her best to, but basically, when you're trying to broadcast to an audience of basically deaf ears.
Yeah. Later in the pilot, we are introduced to Alistair, who I do think I don't know. Did they ever mention that he had been missing? Because that was something that I don't think I really picked up on. Like I don't remember.
I don't think it was like officially stated in that episode, but like I think like what you could gather from at least like the way that they showcased him is that like he definitely hadn't been around for a while.
Yeah. But yeah, so Alistair is a very powerful demon called the Radio Demon, and he shows up saying that he is interested in helping not because he believes in Charlie and her goals at all, but because he just finds it amusing and wants to get some enjoyment out of it. And through Alistair, we meet the rest of the hotel. He summons two characters to work at the hotel. Husker, who is the a bartender, and Nifty, who is like the maid. And honestly, Nifty is one of my favorite characters. I love how crazy she is. But yeah, and that's pretty much the pilot. There's not much going on. It's just introducing our main players. And then I guess Serpentius really isn't a big player in the pilot. He just kind of shows up to attack Alistair, and that's as far as we get into it. But we really kick off the canon stuff in episode 1, where Charlie is now tasked with meeting with the ambassadors of heaven to try and pitch her idea to them. And I do love that not only is Adam leading the Heaven's army against Hell, but he is just the worst. I love it. So, what were your thoughts on Adam just being the worst?
I don't know. On one hand, I guess probably like I feel like he's more set up to be like a bit more villainous. I think.
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, it's hard to exactly put it in the way. He's like absolutely the worst, but in a way that's like really funny.
Yeah.
Where it's like I guess probably like I don't want to say like they're like exactly similar, but like at least kind of a character that gives me a sort of similar feeling, just albeit like in a bit of a different way, and I feel their character will probably go a bit of a different direction, but we'll get into that more like towards speculation later on. But like Alistair, like because like he's kind of like that same idea of like not like maybe so upfront about like his villainous. He's a bit more manipulative, obviously, but but like just like kind of the fun that they have with like that evil part of the character.
Yeah.
Like Obviously, do I condone anything that Adam says or does? Absolutely not.
Yeah, I was gonna say
But-
less on. I was. I guess my question was more looking at what were your thoughts on Adam just being a not like a bad guy, but like a shitty person. Like
That I wasn't entirely surprised. I mean, it tends to happen a lot in this sort of like genre of media with that thing. I'm not saying it's a bad thing
Yeah.
per se. I just there's a lot there's been a lot of adaptations of like the idea of like basically like hell being basically put in the idea of the protagonist, so basically heaven becomes this antagonistic force.
yeah, but I do like that there is. It's not everyone because there are good angels, and it's not just.
Oh yeah, no,
like,
there's
there
definitely
are
more shades
bad,
of gray.
Yeah, there are bad devils, and there are some good people in hell, and then there are bad angels, and there are good angels.
Yeah, no, I definitely think the shades of gray are much more appreciated.
Yes.
Like, I just knew, like, especially if you wanted to, like, just put first impressions on the table to basically set it up so that your people in hell are the good guys, you need someone like Adam.
Yeah, absolutely.
Who is just an absolute, like, gosh, like, I'd say it, but I don't want to, like, cuss
I don't blame. Yeah,
on it.
that's fair. But I get it. And
He was an absolute D-nozzle.
Yes, but he's the first D-nozzle.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true.
What were your thoughts on? We'll cover the songs fully later. Just want to do. Well, like I figure if we're gonna do pop, I'll just say just little light things about it. What were your thoughts on "Hell Is Forever"?
It definitely is just very much like coming from Adam's position and like very much. I mean, if you've seen Adam's character, I'm like, well, I'd take that with a huge grain of salt because he's very much a person that believes that it has to be this certain way.
Yeah, but I was
And,
more
like-
referring to like, what did you think of the song?
Oh, the song. I don't know. It's definitely not my favorite.
Right.
Like not the worst by any means. I do like the just saying guitar solo part and
Yeah,
whatnot, but
that is.
that was pretty funny. But I don't know. Overall, I'm like, I forget what it like. I don't know what it was. There was something in that song where I'm just like, I'm not too big on it, but I can't quite remember what it was that I like to put if I had to put my finger on it.
All right, I think that's fair. So yeah, Charlie pitches to Adam. Adam gives the most emphatic "absolutely not" that he can give, and in
Yeah,
fact,
decides to slice the deadline in half.
yeah, and then in fact decides to say, actually, we're also going to be back in 6 months instead of a year, and
Yeah, but that also like kind of comes back around at the end and like doubling up on like the whole like, oh, angels can be killed plot line that
Yes.
gets set up.
which I am glad that they didn't drop because I was kind of scared because like they set it up and then it just no one talks about it for the rest of the show. I feel I get it. It's not super necessary, but it does feel like with everyone that knew it, I feel like it'd be interesting to see that information, how that information spread instead of just letting it sit. But I also get it.
Well, I
it doesn't need to be like it really like I think. Yeah, I guess I don't know. I forget where I was going with this.
Yeah, like I mean I get it because like we basically get the follow up to all of that and it's the next episode or no not the next episode,
Yeah, like
episode 3.
Yeah, it's episode 3, but like,
And then it like kind of just disappears for episodes
Yeah.
4, 5, and 6.
I would-
but like
yeah,
those ones are also very tight knit character written stories that I just don't think there was any room to per se
no,
fit it in there.
I think my thing is I just wish we had more episodes in the season. I wish we had more time to get to know these.
Which is totally fair. But I think within the time given, like them choosing to focus more on the characters to try
Yeah.
and build that up with like basically like I don't have a problem with like basically the main thread just being kind of a thing that was kind of in the background until like episode 6 basically.
Yeah.
Because I'm like you want to be invested in these characters by the time you hit the finale, and I think the way that they handled it was pretty good.
Absolutely. But yeah, so the B plot of the first episode is Vaggy is trying to make make a trailer or a commercial for the hotel, and is just not. It's not going great, and.
I mean, it's I mean, it definitely could be better. I mean, it's not like you had death stares, very, very suggestive themes, and someone just who couldn't memorize anything. I mean, that's just
Nifty
that's a normal actor problem.
I was gonna say Nifty is the realest character for that, because it's like she's ready to go, and as soon as she's on camera, just blank stare, doesn't know what to do.
I don't know. I feel like there was supposed to be communicating something more, like because we don't know what Nifty's powers fully entail.
Yeah,
And I'm just curious if that stare is supposed to be like, I don't know, some sort of like telecommunication sort of thing. Maybe I'm not entirely sure though.
Yeah. Oh, actually, that is another actor. Kimiko Glenn voices Nifty, who does, I think, Penny Parker from Spider-Verse, but she's also the voice, if we're going to go back to musicals, she's the voice of Dawn, I think it's Dawn, Dawn, the one of the side characters in Waitress. Yeah, she's the one that sings when he sees me.
It's just been such a while that I don't quite fully remember it, but
yeah.
I definitely believe you.
No, I was about to say you didn't see it when it came out, and I'm like, oh right, duh, because you weren't able to see it when it came out in the theaters.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I am not currently in a close area at the moment.
Yeah. But yeah,
that way.
How many times can I say but yeah before I can figure out where I'm trying to go with this?
I guess probably just so basically when like Baggy is in like a bit of a desperate state, she takes a deal with Alistair, which is set up to be a very dangerous thing. Luckily it's not for Ursula.
Not for this one.
This time it's just
this one was a fair one. Alistair will help if he never has to be behind a camera.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love the like when she tries recording him and the camera just blows up and he does the whole "this face was made for radio." I do love the creepiness of Alistair. Like, he would make a great horror villain.
Oh yeah, no, they definitely absolutely I think play like into like some horror things with him, just because like I mean it works really well for the character.
Yeah.
It just works well for the setting in general, really, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
But yeah, where was I gonna go with that?
Welcome to the club.
Yeah, I think I was just gonna like so they make the commercial. Sadly it gets interrupted with basically the stinger at the end with the news of it being like, oh yeah, timeline cut in half, and that's basically episode 1.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. I don't think there was anything major. It was really just another setup episode.
Well, I mean, you had to like introduce everything and like basically set up where your end goal is. So
yeah,
I'm like, it does pretty effective in what it sets out to do.
Yeah,
gets across the premise and gets across where that premise needs to be by the end of these episodes.
And I also do really respect that they allow the pilot to stand on its own. Like, they didn't just redo a pilot. Like, the pilot you still need, like, the pilot may not be ultra canon, but you still need to watch it to get, if you want to like understand who these characters are, why they're here, what they're like how they got here, why it matters that they're there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I feel like the commercial, like the joke commercial that Alistair does at the beginning sums it up pretty well, though, as well, if you, like, because I didn't see the pilot till afterwards, so, like, even I, like, got a good idea of their characters just based off of that, like, the first commercial that Alistair made.
Fair. Alright, and then we get into episode 2. Don't ask me for episode titles, I don't remember. But episode 2...
I remember that one in particular, because that one's an old school song reference, Radio Killed the Video Star.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I think the first one was just...
Overture.
Yeah,
which
Overture.
Is, like, the opening.
Really to cram in the fact that I do like that this is a musical, and I do love that people were upset that it was a musical, because I don't know what you expected. Like,
yeah,
tell me
don't
you
know
haven't
what
been
you'd
paying
expect
attention
either.
without telling me you haven't been paying attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the next episode was, you said it was Radio Killed the Video Star?
Yeah, video killed the radio star. Or radio killed the video star.
Yeah.
Opposite way, sorry.
Yeah, it's good. So, buddy boy, I can give you general. I'm gonna have to be a little looser with this one, but I think the big overarching thing is we start with Serpentius attacking the hotel, and Alistair plays off that he has no idea who Serpentius is, even though they reference the fact they fought in the pilot. Alistair is trying to get under Serpentius' skin, saying that he doesn't remember.
Really,
him.
I feel like he just actually forgot him.
It could go either way. The only reason I say that he did it,
I feel like Serpentius, like, nothing against him, he is an absolute goated character by the end of the season. At this point at this point has like literally done like the most minimal like conflicts with characters that like he is technically quite forgettable.
No, he is.
And I don't mean that as like a knock against his character or anything.
Absolutely.
I just mean like, and he is really weak that like you could just brush him off as a thing of like, oh, okay, that happened, and just move along with your day.
The only reason I say that is because it felt like he was being super sarcastic when he later says, "Oh, I definitely remember you." Like,
well,
yeah, when
he remembers him later.
I know, but like
later in the episode, oh, for sure, because that's when Alistair's being petty because it actually affected something that he cared about.
And it could go either way. I just felt like the way I interpreted it is that he was doing it just to mess with him first, but now he's done. Now he's like actually pissed and doesn't want. Now he's just letting it out. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought it was the opposite way. Like, I thought he actually had like no recollection of this guy at the beginning.
And if he doesn't, that'd be a funny commentary in the fact that it's been what, 5 years? Yeah, 5 years. About.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like, it's like, I mean, it's not like it isn't above like throwing in like some subtle like jokes, commentary at like the pilot and whatnot. I mean, there was that comment from Angel Dust in the first episode, just like with the fluff thing on his chest.
Yeah, I do like that they do have a lot of commentary. I think that is pretty funny because, like, I know
it's like small little, like, I think like self-referential, like self-referencing like gags thrown in there just for like the people who have been there since the beginning.
Yeah. There was also
I also
just totally
had that thought even before Angel Dust said that thing about the fluff on his chest.
Yeah.
So
just to talk about there was a scene in Hello Boss that I want to mention real quick, where one of the characters, who's like very goth coded, was gonna go up to Earth, and then one of the other characters like, "No, you don't understand. You don't understand what people up there will do to someone like you." And then they all just turn to the camera and just give a pointed stare. You don't understand the type of freaks up there, and then everyone just looks at the camera for like 10 seconds before continuing with the scene.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I was like, oh man, I love this show. But yeah, back to the actual show.
Definitely, I feel like is a pointed comment at maybe perhaps some of their viewer base.
Yeah. Alright, Alistair and Serpentius fight, and Serpentius gets the floor wiped with him, and he does get mollywopped again, and at the end of the fight, he tries to do a surprise attack on Alistair and only ends up tearing the jacket, and it's one of my favorite scenes, because he feels so happy, and then Alistair just goes into his demon form, and you just see Serpentius like curl up into a ball and say, "Oh no!" And then just the deer noise and there's a deer noise from Alistair and a massive explosion.
I mean, it's like literally Serpentius in that moment is like, at this moment he knew he effed up.
Yeah, I love that. That is, I think I actually made that joke when I watched that scene. To my girlfriend. And then from that we move on to Alistair going into town to get his jacket fixed, which is where we cut into
V's plot line, basically.
Who I think we're gonna have to talk about later in the rumors section. Remind me to talk about the V's in the rumors section. I'll write that down.
Okay.
Alright,
I'm like, I don't know what particularly to talk about.
I was just gonna. There's
at least
something
other than what's shown by them in the show.
Yeah, there's something.
There's a few things I'm curious to speculate on. But...
no, there's something I've heard that might be that I wanted to. There's something I've heard about them that I want to talk about. But yeah, we cut over to the V's, who seem to be running the media in Hell. I think is my understanding of it.
Yeah, they kind of they tackle I think pretty three big public showing industries, being fashion, the actual tech, and then the entertainment behind it.
Yes, and then you have the more R-rated entertainment with Valentino,
Yeah, no, I mean that's I think just the normal entertainment.
I feel like there was I don't know. I feel like there might be other there might be what we would consider more normal entertainment, but I have no idea.
Honestly, from what we've seen in the show, all I can imagine is that there's only some 18+ rated stuff.
Might be, but yeah. We see Valentino's Vox, the TV demon, because if there's a radio demon, then there's obviously a TV demon. It gets a call from one of his companions, Velvet, who's saying that the other V, Valentino's throwing a fit, and we learn through the scene that Valentino. How do I word this? I guess I could say it. He owns, he partially owns Angel Dust. He only owns him in the studio.
Yeah.
Which I think this is. I do think this is the introduction to owning of souls, and deals.
Yeah, it's only I think subtly hinted at, and you can kind of get a bit more of a better idea in episode 4 of what kind of the contract entails and whatnot. But at least very much you get an idea of the possessiveness in this episode of Valentino has over Angel, and gosh, there is one scene later on with the voicemails and whatnot that
oh my
show pretty well on display what sort of relationship it is. And
yeah,
I mean, even from that, I was I'm oh gosh, I knew when it was gonna come to an episode tackling Angel, it was gonna be rough.
Yeah.
And yeah,
bad. But so we have so we throughout the argument between Valentino and Vox, Valentino reveals that Alistair is at the hotel, and there is some hinted at backstory with Vox and Alistair that we don't know much about now, but we can that we'll definitely be covering later. I definitely feel later in the show, because I would love to know more about what actually happened between them.
Yeah, because I definitely feel at least this season, the V's were definitely a lot more of a background player.
Yeah.
And I feel potentially they might be kind of moving up a bit more when it comes to next season and whatnot.
Yeah. We'll
have to see.
I will have more to say on that in the rumor section.
Yeah.
But they then decide talking about
because
yeah. Sorry, go for it.
Yeah, I was just to kind of break it up, because a lot of these episodes break into basically an A plot and a B plot pretty simply, because the B plot just deals with basically the V's using Serpentius to basically be a spy in the hotel.
Wait, if that's the B plot, what's the A plot?
A plot is all the stuff going down with the V's and Alistair and whatnot.
I thought that was the plot, was them using Serpentius.
I don't know. I guess I mean, I consider it more just the A plot because it's the first thing introduced and kind of spend the focus on it in the first half of the episode.
True.
Because the stuff with Serpentius and whatnot is also just very much until they subvert it at the end, is very much the spy trope that you've seen done about 1 billion times.
Yeah.
Even down to the fight even down to the fight with Angel and Serpentius at the end and whatnot.
Yeah. No, I think it's actually absolutely valid and fair.
It's like I'm like it, like not to say that was bad. It's just like until it subverts like the trope of what you'd expect of it at the end, it is a pretty like number by number like way that this like infiltrator plot tends to go, you know.
Yeah. 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 All right. So I guess since we're coming to actually, do you want to do a little talk about should stayed gone, or do you want to just stop talking about the songs until we cover all of them?
What? Which song?
Stayed gone. The Alistair and Vox
song. Oh, Alistair. Yeah, because what is it? There's the Alistair and Vox song this episode,
and then it starts with Sorry, which is Serpentius and Charlie.
And yeah. Which is like at the end. Yeah, I'd say just let's save the songs like towards the end, because like while that technically sets up a big like thing between the two, it's probably one of the songs that I think like least impacts the season.
Absolutely.
Not to say that it's a bad song. It is a great song.
It is a great song, but it really doesn't do anything for us.
It's better in setup and not really in payoff this season. But it just very much at least sets up the idea of antagonism between the two, which, I mean, kind of you could even pick up just from episode 1 with Alistair's distaste towards TV, so.
Yes. Absolutely. So yeah, then we cut to Serpentius showing up at the hotel.
You do like a few trust exercises. It causes Angel to feel a bit like.
And I do feel like Angel does kind of get the short end of the stick on this one, because while he may not be actively showing that he's trying, when Charlie says that she's happy that someone is finally trying, that hurt. I would be hurt if someone said that to me. I get it. Why he?
Yeah, it's definitely meant to like make you feel pretty sympathetic for like Angel. Like if you hadn't been introduced to him, by then you can like start feeling for him now. So it's good in that sense, and it's also good in like just like the sense of like trying to understand like where they've been prior to this and whatnot. So, but it's also just very much the infiltrator plotline to a T. So it also sucks that Angel is on the the backhand of it. But
I do like that they do subvert that. Like the traitor plot is just in this episode and only this episode. It's not like a drawn out thing. I do really appreciate that we don't have this ultimate. Because I'm like really good, who's really bad.
Yeah, because like if they had drawn this plot out, I do not think I would have like been as much okay with this episode as I am.
Yeah.
Because I really do not like the infiltrator plot line.
No, it's not. Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's not great.
It's played out a lot, and I'm like, I've seen it once. I've seen it like 100 times.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Serpentius doesn't even make it a full day as a traitor. He tries calling Vox at the end of the night to relay some information and gets caught immediately. No, actually, no. He's trying to put a camera up and he gets caught.
Which, Angel catches him, and instead of it being like the sort of, because if this was normally how it would play out, suddenly that camera would be missing by the time they got into the fight and Charlie and like Vaggie showed up.
Yeah, absolutely.
But luckily the camera's still there, and it is very much like. But I do also like that it doesn't like basically make Serpentius run off and be like this sort of like slimy small time villain all the time, and instead actually incorporates him into basically the main cast to help try and improve as well.
Yeah, I mean, he tried getting out, and Vox just laughed in his face and told him that to either die by them or die by me.
Yeah, gosh, I do find the delivery of the line from Vox like hilarious, but I'm like I feel bad for Serpentius in that moment.
He did really get screwed on that, but also I don't know what he was expecting.
Yeah. And it's like, because basically, if you don't mind moving into like episode 3 and whatnot, like to kind of follow up on that, like they have basically, because like the entirety of episode 3, I think, is to help establish like the bonds within the cast. Now that we've gotten to kind of know basically the major characters at play.
Yeah.
While also like in the background be setting up because it follows back up on the Angel plotline from 1 with Alistair and the eggs and whatnot.
Yes, which I love my Eggy boys.
Frank.
But
specifically Frank.
I love Frank.
I still love the line every single time I hear it. We have names.
We have names. I also love that. I guess I'm afraid I'm not going to mention it later, so I'm going to give just a quick spoiler alert for the end of the show. You know what? I probably should hold off on it. Never mind. I'll just write it down.
Yeah. Yeah, just write it down. But yeah. So, because basically the main plot of the episode is like focusing on building trust between like the party members and like it. Party members, the cast. I don't know why I went RPG terms on that, but basically just having like, and it's also like in a way of like Charlie trying to like trust Vaggie to try and also be able to lead, but like it's maybe not exactly like I think Vaggie's role, which you get like with the song later on with her and gosh, what's the name of the arms dealer again?
Camilla Carmine.
Carmilla Carmine, that's what it was. I was like, gosh, I knew it started with a C, but like...
If I had a soundboard, I would have put a Spanish guitar on it. As soon as I said her name, I would have put the Spanish guitar, because I swear they do that every time she's on screen.
Honestly, actually, it's also very interesting that, like, those two characters are also very, like, out of any other character, also, like, very much, like, Spanish thing, like, yes. Themed, because they actually include, like, Spanish, like, lingo in their stuff. Like, I do actually find it funny. I forget it. I think it was in episode 1 where Vaggie's like "Este pendejo,"
yeah.
which is Do you know what pendejo means?
It's a curse.
Yeah, like it's one of the few like Spanish curse words. It's like basically it's SOB.
Yeah.
To put it simply.
Speaking of Vaggie and singing, Vaggie is voiced by Stephanie Beatriz, and I do think I don't want to say that Encanto that I think she only learned to sing for Disney, but her singing voice does not match her speaking voice at all. It is kind of jarring. So, Vaggie.
Yeah.
It is kind of jarring going from the gruff Vaggie to the Disney princess singing Vaggie.
Yeah, I don't have particularly too much of a problem with it.
It's not a super big issue. It is just funny how, like, she, like, whenever she sings, I don't hear Vaggie singing. I hear Isabella. And what was the character from Encanto? Whatever character she played in Encanto. I only hear that.
What was the name of the actress?
Stephanie Beatriz. She was the main character in Encanto.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Mirabelle.
Mirabelle, that was it. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder. Yeah,
I don't know. I don't particularly have too much of a problem with it.
No, like, it's just amusing that, like, hearing her go from talking to singing. It's like, whoa, hello. Was not expecting.
I mean, it was also because like they were also going power ballad for the song and whatnot, so it's a bit understandable.
Understood. Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
I'm like I didn't have too big of a problem just because like I knew they were going for power ballad type thing. So
yeah, I think basically. So we learn about we learn somewhat of the power structure of how specifically Pentagon City works, or Pentagram City. Sorry.
Yes, Pentagon City.
Yes. Which there's the overlords who are like not hellborn, they're sinners who have gotten enough power and souls under their control that they run districts of Pentagram City. Yeah,
they basically run like their own like basically businesses.
Yeah, they're gangs basically, or mafia, kind of like different mafias. They have different turf.
Yeah.
But
I mean, even like turf wars were even mentioned in like the pilot, although
we saw one
comes up and like. Yeah, but I mean by like I don't think they're really brought up much in like the main series afterwards.
Yeah, I think the only comment of turf is the only comment I can remember is in episode 7 with Rosie mentioning to Alistair that she knew of some guy that didn't have enough people.
Yeah, but I mean,
and
by,
also
at least,
episode 4
specifically with warring over turf.
Yeah, warring over turf. I don't think so, but I do think that might be more of a thing in season 2. But we'll talk about that later.
Yeah.
But yeah, we learn that the overlords have a meeting, and that Alistair is one of the overlords. And the meeting is then interrupted by one of the bees, Velvet, who basically says we need to start a war against heaven, and throws the decapitated head of the angel that we learned about that died in the first episode on the table, and
had a pretty good rap battle.
Had an amazing rap battle. I love that.
Yeah.
And
I was actually looking at it. I'm actually, because I mean, I don't listen to a lot of rap, but I at least know some intricacies, because I like listening to at least a few rappers that I know talk about how to work rhyme schemes and whatnot. And they actually did work rhyme schemes within the lines as well, because that's an important thing in rapping.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, I like getting a little bit technical with my musicals.
No, you're good.
With my music, so.
No, you're fine. Yeah, so we learned that the basic. I don't know if Carmine is the head overlord, or is just the one that kind of runs the meetings. But she refuses.
It could just be the one running the meetings, because there is definitely one that's older there that could probably technically hold more power.
Zestial?
Yeah, Zestial.
Yeah.
But she just seems I think the one who commands a bit more respect, perhaps.
Yeah.
Could be the right word. I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah, I mean respect, because the song's respectless.
Oh gosh, I didn't even remember what. Well, actually, I don't even really know what the titles of the songs are, because I haven't really looked up the soundtrack names. But
yeah, I listen to that soundtrack religiously. It's a problem.
Oh, I have nothing wrong with it. I don't know. I'm somewhere between tempting on getting it or not. Because for me, I actually do purchase my songs, so
I mean, I would. It's real good.
Yeah.
Apple Music,
so I'm just yeah.
But where was I going with this?
It's just me and my music habits. Anyways.
Yeah. So yeah, we learned that Carmine refuses to get into war, and they fight. Carmine and Velvet fight about starting a war against Heaven. And later in the episode, we learned that Carmine is the one responsible for the angel's death, but we don't learn how she did it. We just know that she did do it, and that she refuses to tell anyone how she did it, because if that information got out, a war would start, and that she only killed the angel to protect someone, and that if the war started, then who's to say who would live and who would die, which I think makes a whole lot of sense, and that's really a great idea, a great reasoning for not wanting to start a war.
Yeah, no, and I think it's just also very much I don't, because I feel at least the way that they point it, the way that they paint Carmilla is that she's probably kind of would be kind of, if we were to divide sides up more on an ally side, and is willing to do to fight for what they love. Although I guess that could also just easily be turned against her. So
yeah,
we'll see. But
at
least in this season, it's very much painted as a good aspect for her.
Yeah,
in a way.
And we learned this because Frank gets into the room when she is discussing it with Zestial later on, and we have that whole B plot of Vaggie trying to get mutual respect and trust in the rest of the hotel members, and Vaggie and Carmine share their ballad, and we end the episode with I guess we forgot to mention why the eggs were with Alistair in the first place. Vaggie was trying to.
It's not too big. It was really just Vaggie just trying to get rid of any weapons per se in the hotel.
Vaggie tried making Serpentius get rid of them, and they go with Alistair for the day. And at the end of the episode, Baggy allows Serpentious to keep the egg boys, and
yeah, I'm like, I figured that was like kind of the conclusion they were building to,
Yeah.
so I was like, I was never really too worried about
no,
that.
no, I was just giving the conclusion of why it was why they weren't with him as to finish up with. And at the end, Frank is told not to share the information about the dead angel, and then
ends up
immediately
absolutely blabbing.
Immediately mentions it to Serpentious, but then follows it up with, and that was something I should not have said, or something to that effect, and I was not supposed to tell anyone about it. And Serpentious just follows up
and
with,
I was not supposed to say that, I believe.
Yeah, I think that's the exact line. And Serpentious follows it up with, yes, and maybe tomorrow you'll meet the Martians, completely blowing off the fact that something massive was just dropped, which will pay off so funnily later on.
I mean, I think it pays off so well that part just became a meme.
Yes, it has such. I love the payoff for it. It's so funny.
But it's just it was also really good for meme potential as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think the egg. There's a reason the Egg Boys are one of my favorite characters. But yeah,
I honestly don't do too much like after this. Like, not that it's a bad thing,
No.
but I'm like, I do think at least the purposes that they serve are pretty good. They're not overused like per se some other like maybe small yellow creatures cough cough minions cough cough.
Oh yeah,
but
Razzle and Dazzle. I'm so sad Razzle and Dazzle didn't play a bigger part.
honestly, I'm glad. I don't need mascots shoved down my throat too much.
Yeah, I do love that Kiki just exists, and they never really point her out, but she's usually there in the background in most of the hotel shots. And there are some really cute background shots with Kiki and some of the characters.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we move to episode 4, which...
Yes.
Yikes.
Is the very rough episode.
It's like...
Although it has, I think, a really good conclusion.
Oh, it has a beautiful conclusion.
Everything,
it's just, there's content warnings.
Everything leading up to it is... Yeah, there's a lot of... Let's just say...
I feel like we should probably I want to skim it, but I also feel like we're not respecting it if we skim over it.
Let's just say trigger warning for SA.
Yeah. SA for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like there are more that we could say, but I don't know exactly what words to use.
It mostly I think stems from that problem.
Yeah.
I mean, not to say that you can't also have some of those problems at the end, but without that, because they're not equally 1-in-1.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say DA.
It definitely can influence.
Yeah.
Like DA or.
But would that
SH.
even apply there?
I don't know. I'd say self-harm.
No, I was saying the domestic part because it's not domestic.
Oh, is that what that says for? I thought it was set for drug abuse. But...
Oh yeah, no, actually, I was going more for the domestic abuse because
I was thinking drug abuse.
Well, yeah, definitely that for sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, there's definitely drug and alcohol abuse, and
there's a lot of physical violence.
Very much can understand. Yeah.
But to make a very hard to digest episode more bearable, it's focused on Angel Dust and his relationship with Valentino and what it entails for Valentino to own Angel Dust's soul, or at least a part of it. Basically, there's a deal that they had struck up where as long as Angel Dust is in the studio, he has to do whatever Valentino says.
Which leads to a very, very controlling environment.
Yes,
from
especially
Valentino.
With
he
Angel
very
Dust
much
being
has
a
all.
porn star.
Yeah, but also, I mean, it was just due to his I'd say narcissistic tendencies as well in Valentino.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Part of me wants to see it. There's probably someone who's gone out there and thrown the DSM-5 at Valentino, and I'd love to know what they got him with. The DSM is...
Yeah,
if you don't know, the DSM is the... Oh, what is it? It's like a... Not... I guess generalizing it, it's like the mental illness guidebook.
Yeah, yeah, I don't know. I haven't like seen too much. Like, I only watched like basically the show like 2 days ago, and so
Yeah, but Valentina's got a lot of issues, and that means a lot of people, and those rub off on a lot of the people he interacts with, unfortunately.
yeah, it's very sad because like I mean I think like and this kind of like it applies probably doubly so for those who have dealt with like stuff like that in the past, but also I think a lot of other like a lot of people who maybe just deal with like regular depression or just like like social anxiety or whatnot, just like the idea of like a social mask having to be the way that you have to live
Yes. Yeah.
instead of like the way that you want to live.
Yeah. Absolutely. I do. Yeah. I think. Yeah. It touches on a lot of very important things that I'm very happy that there are not a lot of jokes in this episode. It is a very serious episode, and I respect the hell out of that, because they could have very easily made this, oh haha, this is so funny. But
yeah, I feel like very much if we weren't reviewing the entire show right now, there's very much a good like probably about half an hour to an hour discussion that could be had about Angel and everything that goes on
in this episode,
with him and whatnot. But and I think we'll maybe touch a little bit more on it in Poison, just because I mean those lyrics are very double pointed.
Yeah.
But just to keep it simple and maybe a little bit lighter, because we're gonna be jumping back into like episode 5, which is probably I think one of like the like lightest episodes maybe.
Well, it depends because there one of those songs is very emotional depending on your relationship with your parental what is it? Your if you
parental figure.
Yeah, depending on your relationship with your dad, one of those songs hits a lot harder than some others.
Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Yeah, I was not ready for episode 5 after episode 4. I was hoping for more lighthearted, and then I got hit with father issues, and yeah.
I just mean by like at least comparatively in tone.
Oh, it's much
definitely
better.
A lighthearted.
No, absolutely.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I'm not saying that it doesn't have its own like deal of issues that it's dealing with. I mean, that's a lot of these episodes dealing with different things. Honestly, if we're probably talking brightest, it honestly would be episode 6, I think.
Yeah.
Which is weird to say.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But 6 is also for the kiddies with religious trauma.
I mean, yeah, I guess. Like, I'm not saying like there isn't some.
No, I know what you mean. I know what you're going for.
But I mean,
yeah, there is. There
when
really
you basically
is.
have.
When you look at it from an outside point, yeah, there really is no overall. There's no episode that doesn't hit at least someone.
Yeah, but I mean, when you have basically 2 Charlies in an episode, that episode is immediately going to be.
True. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, and you should say it with your chest, because Emily really is just the angel version of Charlie.
I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's very much just a parallel sort of thing.
No, I absolutely love it.
I'm not, like I do not mean that as a like a diss towards Emma's character in the slightest. Is it Emily?
It is Emily. Because no, it's so funny. Because actually, I could not tell the difference. Their voices sound identical. I really thought they just cast Erica Henningsen twice.
Yeah, it's 2 different voice actors. I was like, they aren't the same, right?
Yeah.
Like the only 2 characters that share a voice actor in the show is Adam and Serpentius. So
yeah, actually, and also Alex Brightman. Alex Brightman voices a lot of stuff for Busy. He voices a major character in Hell of a Boss as well, and he also voices some of the background voices in Hazbin. I know he's like the assistant for Vox in episode 2.
Yeah, isn't it also the woman newscaster as well?
No, that's Brandon Rogers.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was like, I think I got the names confused maybe, but yeah.
But yeah, I do love that Alex Brightman did kill himself, basically in the show. But
Wait, what?
We'll talk about it at the end. I'll make the joke again.
Okay.
Sorry. No, it's a meta joke about the characters.
Got it.
Yeah. So getting back to episode 4. Yeah, it's just Angel. Valentino's cracking down on Angel and trying to make him work a lot more, and it is taking a toll on Angel. And even though Charlie tries to step in, it actually just makes the situation a whole lot worse. And I am skipping over.
I do love
yeah,
I do love like the ending portion, like because like basically the entire idea of the episode is like building up the idea of like Husk being able to see through Angel, and like basically being able to have like Husk like convincing Angel that basically he doesn't need to put up like at least this front with like the people at the hotel, because like they don't see him for what he does and more see him for the person that he is.
Also, not to be shipper, because it has actually been stated by Vizzy that they will be a thing. Loser Baby is technically a romance song, because I think it is canon that they do get together at some point. I don't know if we'll ever see it in the show, but it has been stated that down the line that it is a very slow burn, but Husker and Angel do become a thing.
I was not surprised. I honestly got that feeling even by the end of like.
And honestly, song, so. I love it. Loser Baby. We'll cover it more. I love Loser Baby so much. But I also love their relationship.
Honestly, I think probably honestly like either my first or second favorite song out of that entire soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. For sure, it's up there. Yeah, I do like that. We learn. This is the episode we also get Husk's backstory. How he was an overlord at one point, and a considerably powerful one. But over time, his power started to slip, and he started making deals that he really shouldn't have made until he made a bet with Alistair. And it is implied that... I think it's implied that Alistair cheated, but I don't know if it's ever outright stated. I think it is implied that Alistair cheated in that game. And thus...
is it? I didn't really gather that, but I mean, I just figured... Sometimes when you're down on your luck, your cards are also not going to be the best.
Yeah, I think it could go either way, but also it does really just seem like Alistair's character to cheat in that.
Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, I didn't, like, pick up on any of that, but I'm, like, also if it was, like, ever, like, blatantly stated like that, I'm, like, I wouldn't be surprised either. Yeah. He is kind of the one who would try to manipulate the cards in his favor.
Yeah, but basically...
Sort of person. I mean, especially if we go off of, like, some of his statements in the final song of the season.
Yeah.
But we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
Because that also probably leads into some speculation stuff as well.
It does. But yeah, so Husker made a deal with Alistair and he lost, and now Alistair owns Husker's soul. That's why he was able to make him be the bartender. He fully owns Husker's soul. It's not partial like Angel Dust. It's 24/7 around the clock.
It's full.
But yeah, so it really it ends with Husker and Angel Dust recognizing that they have something that they can relate on, that only the two of them share, that trauma of not being able to live your own life and make your own decision. And it's a very beautiful song, but
yeah, it's also really catchy.
It is incredibly catchy, and like I've never seen Princess and the Frog, but this is really I have heard Friends on the Other Side, but this is the first time really seeing Keith David singing. Alright, that's all I'm going to say on that. So, we transition to episode
really good.
5. Yeah, we'll transition to episode 5 now, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah, which is where Lucifer comes.
Lucifer. I love Jeremy Jordan.
It's a really, like... I mean, it's very much, gosh, how do I put it into, like... So, like... Gosh, I wanted to say, like, it was one thing, but it's also, like... two other things at the same time, so I actually don't exactly know how to exactly best define it. I don't know how I was going to define it. Go ahead with plot synopsis.
Yeah, that's right. So we open the episode with Charlie wanting to get a meeting with Heaven, like with someone higher up in Heaven, knowing that Adam's never going to listen to her. So she gets in. She calls her dad, Lucifer, to try and see if he can push a meeting with Heaven, and she invites him over to the hotel so he can come take a look at it. And we see we see Lucifer, who is a depressed single parent.
He tried his best. He tried his best on the first line, but man, that first line set the tone of that call.
Yeah, it did. But I also love the expectation subversion, because like when you think Lucifer, you think like scary king of hell, like someone terrifying. No, he's just a little baby. He's just a little baby. He's just a depressed guy. Okay, leave him alone. But he really likes ducks. But yeah, we see that he's really excited to get that chance to interact with his daughter. It sounds like they haven't had a relationship in a long time.
Yeah, I mean, we even see like later in the episode that Lilith. There may have been more chance for it, but I feel like the way to read that scene is that Lilith kind of kept.
Yeah, and that's something I do want to talk about later.
Yeah,
Lilith in a hole is a big question mark. I will write that down.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, I know I'm just bringing like up at least like the scene.
No, I know. Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I just wanted to write it down because I got several things to talk to you about.
Oh yeah, no. There's more to talk about with Lilith, especially like with the final scene. But we'll talk about it more like towards the end and whatnot when it more suits talking about everything as a whole.
Yes,
I just wanted to mention the scene now just because it gives, I think, good context for early on in the episode.
Yes. So they're trying to put the hotel together as quick as they can before Lucifer shows up. And as they finish, Lucifer shows up, and immediately Alistair and Lucifer do not like each other. It is hilarious. Like, it's on site with them.
And, for sure.
There was one scene that, as soon as when Charlie introduced Baggy to Lucifer, there is a scene, like a clip of Lucifer's looking not at Vaggie, but above Vaggie, and it really makes me wonder with something later on that I will talk about later. Because I realize we haven't learned that piece yet. We'll learn it. I'll talk about it at the end of the next episode, when we finish the next episode. Because it makes me wonder if he knew.
Alright.
But anyways, moving on. So Lucifer is and Alistair just have a singing duel, which I think is the best way to describe that. And it is a really good song. And I think it does kind of set some stuff up later up for future, with just how on site it is, like, and how much immediately, like, Alistair knows exactly what to say to get under Lucifer's skin. I wonder if there's something more there.
Yeah, but it seems like Lucifer seems to know exactly the opposite as well.
Yeah, that's true. But the beautiful song is horribly interrupted by the introduction of a friend of Alistair's named Mimsy, who comes to the hotel trying
the B plot for this episode.
Yeah, she's the B plot. But I'll just cover the B plot now. She's being followed by loan sharks, and he's trying to hide away from them and trying to use Alistair's friendship as like a shield, kind of. But as
like,
go for it.
Okay. But basically because due to like Husk kind of knowing the situation, like what like tells Alistair it's not good to keep her around, and it eventually does come around to that. But like the important I think thing
is probably the importance of that scene of Husker trying to tell Alistair to get rid of her is
more of the line of, as a man who is tied up in strings himself.
Yeah, basically the reveal that someone owns Alistair. Alistair is not as free as he tries to come across. He is under the same chains that Husk is under. And that is something we will definitely discuss in the rumors, because I have theories. But moving forward, really the driving forward, the conclusion of this episode is when the loan sharks attack the hotel. Lucifer's trying to point out that, like, look at this guy. He's doing horrible things to these sinners. Are you sure that you really want him being here and helping? Which Charlie's able to, like, at least he cares, which is something that I think Lucifer needed to hear, because he really did seem like he didn't care and did not have any interest in trying to support her.
I don't think it was really more of that he didn't care, but more of that he had been beaten down prior for trying to do he had been beaten down prior for trying to do the same thing of trying to push, like, in a way that got denied so hard that basically he just, like, worries, I think, in a way that it'd be the same thing for Charlie, and potentially is, like, why he's also so pessimistic about it.
Yes.
Especially with the whole, like, they're sinners thing and whatnot.
Yeah.
But, it's like, through, like, Charlie's positivity that he's able to kind of come around at the end of the episode. And so from there, basically, Lucifer is able to give Charlie the appointment to heaven, just that she'll be on her own, although not technically on her own, because she decides to, like, drag Vaggie along with her.
Much to Vaggie's complaint.
Much to her
frustration.
Yeah, much to her chagrin.
Yes.
But yeah, and so basically, because I forget, where does, like, the final numbers, like, kind of all before that, right? It's just basically
more than anything
him accepting her
happens before he makes the appointment.
Got it. Okay, I was, like, just making sure that I got my timeline all correct. And so from there, basically, we get episode 6, which has the reintroduction of Cherry Bomb since, like, the pilot, basically.
Yes.
And basically, so while both her and Vaggie are away, Charlie gives Cherry Bomb, like, money for them to have a how did she describe it? The night on the town?
I don't remember the exact words. Wait, who are you referring to, Cherry or Charlie?
Charlie.
A fun night on the town. I don't remember. Was there a specific verbiage she used?
I remember it started something, like, very neatly with an N, because it was, like, kind of going off of the theme, but I'm like, I cannot remember it just because it, like,
no idea.
Gosh, I forget.
It's okay.
Yeah, but regardless, basically, yeah, and so basically, that kind of ends up being our B plot, though it actually does link up quite well.
Yeah,
to
it does
our A plot.
Affect the A plot a lot.
The trial part.
Yeah.
Yeah, once it, like, links up in the trial portion. But basically they go to heaven, get an entrance song, which I'm just like, I know it's to highlight the positivity and whatnot, but man, can I not help but be skeptical of that. I guess it's probably just also doesn't help that due to Adam being, like, basically the first angel. You're just like, well, we technically know there's something more going on here, so it isn't all positivity and whatnot.
No. But fun fact about that scene. One of the dancers with St. Peter has been confirmed to be Angel Dust's sister, who actually did go to heaven.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, her name's Molly.
Do you think Do you think they'll play any pivotal
I
role, or is it just
imagine it
more fun
might, depending
detail?
on stuff we'll talk about when we get to the finale part of this video. Um, depending on how season 2 goes, it might. It genuinely might, and I hope it does.
Because I feel like there definitely is going to need to be a little bit more focus on I think like a Heaven Side cast, and I mean, you technically already have at least 3-ish characters there by the end.
I can think of
not counting in.
Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, yeah. I mean,
there are two for there are two for sure, and I'm semi counting one that's potentially slightly antagonistic.
Yeah, I mean, I can count a for sure antagonist, a might antagonist, two might antagonists, one for sure, and 2 protagonists up there, and hopefully Molly can be a 3rd protagonist up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there isn't too much to say about that number other than just
Welcome to Heaven is just like a Dare song. It's there. It's pretty catchy, but not much to it.
I don't know. It's a bit too sickly sweet for my taste.
It is. I do love that they left in Dare and Chris is panting at the end.
Oh, is that actually how it was recorded?
Yeah, that is actually how it was recorded, and I don't know if that's if it was exaggerated, but they left it in for the cast album. It's on there.
Oh,
it ends with him just panting, and then it transitions to the next song.
That is neat.
Yeah.
But yeah, because then it built as basically from there the next important thing is the what is it, the Adam and Vaggie scene basically.
Yeah, that was okay, looking back, the pieces have been there from the start, but I was not expecting Vaggie to be an angel.
Yeah, I feel like I maybe got slightly spoiled on that going into it, because I was because I don't know where I maybe read it or something, but basically that Charlie was dating an angel, basically, sort of thing.
Yeah, I mean, as Carmine so succinctly puts it in episode 7, she wields an angelic spear and has a red X over her eye. It really shouldn't have been that hard.
Yeah.
But also,
it's in retrospect,
yeah, there were a lot of things.
Total sense.
Like how she always referred to to everyone as Charlie's people and never our people, or how it's always Charlie's people, and how she makes that comment in the pilot about how Angel Dust has been here longer than she has. While that could have gone either way, it does that information does change the light of those phrases.
Or the or even just in a smaller thing, how
uncomfortable she was going to heaven.
No, her trust, her trust building thing being very militaristic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, the pieces were there. It's just none of us would think to put those together.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a theory, I think. It's just so people obviously did think of it, but it did blow my mind at first.
Yeah, I think I just may have been slightly spoiled in that I kind of knew already, and then also just I don't know. There was also
and then actually that reminds me, going back to what I was going to say. Sorry. Back when Lucifer meets Vaggie, he looks above her head for a second. I wonder if he could tell she was an angel and was looking for her halo to see if she was fallen or not.
Yeah, I didn't think of that, but what was I gonna say?
Because he of all people would know. He would be able to tell.
Also, if you didn't, I don't know if it was maybe just I'm maybe reading a bit too deep into it or not, but also her eyes are different from the regular color of the demon eyes as well.
Yeah. I think that's fair. I don't know if haven't really looked at their eye colors, but yeah, that would make sense to me.
It isn't as deep of a yellow as the rest of them's are.
Yeah, I can see that. Is it more like Adam's yellow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Plus, I think most of them, when they get angry, their eyes went red, but like Maggie's never did.
Yeah, which is funny because then there are some characters whose eyes who are like always red. So I wonder if they're like always angry or if it's just a stylistic choice.
Yeah, I'm like I can't speak entirely for that because that one like kind of is a bit variable.
Yeah.
So I'm like I didn't want to use that one as like conclusive evidence,
No.
but like just at least something that I observed.
But yeah, her hair is kind of shaped like an angel or like wings, like when it's down.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the pieces were there, but I also can't. I'm not mad that I didn't pick them up because they weren't like. It's hard to take that logical leap.
Yeah, sometimes I'm like sometimes you just have to be told something.
Yeah, it's like
and,
it's
like,
not
just
crazy.
At least...
It's like not like they didn't set it up, but
at least like it like retroactively makes a lot of sense,
Yeah.
and not like this feels like it like just pulled out of nowhere.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Now, all right. So we get that reveal with Adam, and then we move to the court scene, which I have to say, you didn't know the courtroom theme song. Oh, it's such a good song.
Oh, it is. I really like the end part of it.
Yeah, I love when they do reprises of songs but twist the meanings, and I really love how they took the chorus from Hell is Forever and twisted it and spit it back in the face of heaven.
Oh yeah, no, it, like I really like I knew it was a reprise and whatnot because but like it was like it definitely like gosh I can't describe it that well, but it was really well done.
Yeah, I mean, just imagine being like some random angel going into court one day and then having kind of your whole world just turned upside down in one scene. Like, what do you do after that?
That courtroom went all Prince of Bel-Air style.
Yeah. Like, I want to know what the word on the street in heaven was after all that.
Well, I definitely feel like that's
do you
something
think that got leaked?
I feel like it'd be hard not to. There is definitely probably at least like one blabbermouth type character on there.
If not, if it was, yeah, if anyone, Emily's probably trying to spread the word as much as she can.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was a really good scene. And then we do get the big reveal at the end of that where so actually during the court scene, not to skip over all of that, we cut back to the B plot, and they use angel dust as the example of someone who's being redeemed by the hotel.
Reformed,
thank you.
Yeah.
And I love the specific 3 things Adam came up with. It was don't steal, stick it to the man, and what was the last one?
What was it? I know stick it to the man was the last one.
Yeah, stick it to the man specifically.
Oh, don't do drugs.
Yeah, don't do drugs.
Don't do drugs.
Stick it to the man, and don't steal. And those are specifically his 3 things. And I also do like that they point out that none of them really know what gets them into heaven, because really, Adam shouldn't be in heaven. Like, not only is he a horrible person, if you want to look at biblically, Adam also ate the fruit. I feel like if we want to be super literal, he went against God's will. It probably should have gotten him kicked out if we're going to take a more direct stance on the religious part. So it is interesting that no one really knows why he's there other than he's the first man. Which I also think that makes Adam the heaven's greatest Nepo baby. Because he really did not do much to deserve that.
Yeah, looking at it from that lens, it like makes entirely sense why he acts the way he does.
Yeah, he's never had to work for anything. He's been given everything. But
he is heaven's Nepo baby.
I do. I also really love in that scene where Sarah is revealing that she was the one that approved it. How there's direct fire in her eyes when she's saying that that
is such great juxtaposition.
Yeah, I really am excited to see what comes next with heaven, as I feel I'll bring up this one question now, and we can discuss it later. But like, where is God during all of this? Because not really mentioned ever. Like, sure, they mention higher ups, but they never say God directly, I think. But there's obviously someone controlling stuff behind the scenes.
Cut off today.
Oh. Hello?
Hello?
Hi. Where did I cut off?
Like, right after you, let me ask you a question.
Alright, so the question was, where's God during all of this?
Well, I mean,
yeah.
that it actually exists.
Yeah, and that's so there's obviously someone above Sarah, because she's scared of something. So there's at least something above her. And for the stinger for the first of, so there's two stingers at the end of the finale. The first stinger after the song, someone or something made that happen, because normally the situation is they go to St. Peter. Something put that in front of Sarah. Something with a conscience had to have made that decision to show Sarah that maybe she's not right. So there's obviously something or someone above her that does not agree with what she's doing.
Yeah.
But then the question is, why are they not stopping her? Who knows? To be determined. But
yeah, there's definitely some rules at play, but what they are, we aren't privy to yet.
I also do like that as soon as Emily steps out of line and starts questioning, the first thing is like, hey, you're gonna fall if you keep doing that. Don't do that, you will fall.
Well, but also the thing is that Sarah was technically the one who caused, like, it's shown in the thing that it's like she was the one who caused Lucifer to fall in the first place.
Oh,
so.
That's mean. Oh, that's cruel. Yeah. I thought it was the people. I thought it was. So I think there's angels above Sarah, and there's angels above something above those angels. I thought it was the angels above Sarah and Lucifer, because I think they were on the same level. Because I think they're both seraphims. Because they both have the six. They both have the 6 wings. I thought it was the people above Sarah and Lucifer that were the ones that cast Lucifer out.
I thought it was like ones on like the same level as him.
Oh, maybe. But I have no idea. But anyways,
like I'm taking like, I'm pretty sure like I saw like a comment that it was like if you go back and check like the opening narration, of like the show, not the pilot, that it shows that.
Yeah, that could be. Yes. So at the end, so we follow Angel Dust and his friends at the party, and it really comes across that Angel Dust is not a good example of what's going on with the rehabilitation. But Charlie, like, just give it time. Just look a little longer, and we see this really, really good scene of Cherry trying to get Angel to take some drugs, and Angel decides, no, I'm not going to do that. And we see that Nifty is about to go mess with I think it was Nifty goes to mess with Valentino because she's wasted.
Well, first, because what was it? I believe she was trying to steal something. I couldn't
remember the full story. I couldn't remember if it was.
Yeah.
It was on the way out.
She stole the drinks first, which he. No, like she stole the drinks first, which like he put a stop to, and then after that, Nifty goes after Valentino, like after spotting him because she's into bad boys.
Yes, and we get this really good scene of Angel standing up to Valentino, and it's like, look, you only own me in the studio, you don't own me outside, so piss off, basically. And there was a really cute scene of Angel calling Nifty a mess, and she starts sobbing because she hates messes, and he's like, oh, he feels bad, and he's like, you want to go play with the kitty, and then just goes and hands her over to Husker, who is the cat, who is a cat person, like literally is half cat, half winged thing, and instead of Husker throwing a fit like he normally does, he just kind of accepts it and lets Nifty just play with his wings and stuff, and it's just really cute.
Mm-hmm.
But
what I actually liked was a little bit earlier in that scene where like what is it that Cherry was trying to give Angel like drugs is that basically like in a way that Cherry acts as like the devil as sort of like what Angel had been and where Husk like acts somewhat in a way of like his Angel.
yes, I do like that, and I also do love the Serpentius horribly trying to flirt with Cherry Bomb, and I love...
see there is a sex room. Would you
like
to have the
sex
with me?
Why would I do that? Because I'm having sex with everyone.
I'm like that. I feel bad that it led to like because like he thought because like you know it works fine with drinks and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it was like, it's a funny joke, but it is kind of messed up how he was dragged into that room.
Yeah,
that was a little too far, but it is like, still a funny joke.
Yeah, I'm like I feel a bit bad for him, but like at the same time, it is pretty funny.
Yeah, I love how like, cute he. I love how like fair, unsure and unsure of himself he is when it comes to Cherry. It's really cute.
Yeah. No, I hope they're able to meet up again in season 2.
I think they will. I'll just say that. And we'll discuss that more in the future. But moving on then.
Episode 7, basically. I
was gonna finish. Because we never really got the climax of the.
Oh, sorry. Oh wait, yeah, no, sorry. We totally were.
You're good.
Yeah. Sorry, no, I just realized it as well.
Whoops. So after this, we have seen that Angel Dust has met all 3 of the things. He stopped Nifty from stealing. He stuck it to Valentino, and he didn't do the drugs that Cherry was trying to give him, and so he's technically met all of the rules that they gave him. And Charlie points this out, and we see that that Sarah.
That's when it leads into the number that
Sarah doesn't care.
We talked about earlier,
and Sarah doesn't care. It doesn't matter that she set these rules, and he's met all of them. He's still a sinner, and it doesn't matter. And it sets up the big number of you didn't know.
Yeah, and it sets up basically like Emily, like very much like becoming part of like Charlie's cause.
Yeah, and I do like the line after, and at the end of the song, it is just to really mess with Charlie because you know, Adam's a.
Oh yeah.
A tool. We'll call him a tool because there are other things I'd like to call him, but let's try and keep it nice. He reveals that Baggy's an angel, which had been a secret.
Well, yeah, because I mean, he had threatened to do that since the beginning,
and not only
it only makes sense that he would follow through with that threat.
Yeah, not only is she an angel, she's an
one of the executors.
It was the what is it? It's a specific word. It's when you go in and
I thought it was executor.
No, it was the it's EX something. It's exorciser. No, it's the
Oh yeah, exorciser.
Exorcists. It was an exorcist. She was an exorcist, which is the people that go down and actually do the extermination. And and which she had kept from Charlie, and then that's really the big ending of the episode, with Emily then stating that she doesn't know how she can continue to do her job as an angel, knowing that all of this is going on, which I really hope pays off later on. But we move on to episode 7 with them trying to figure out what are they going to do now. It's now, I think a month must have passed.
It's like only.
I guess it's all right. So there's basically a month between episode 6 and episode 8. I think probably 7 is right after 6, but then there's a month in between 7 and 8. I don't know how it works. Or maybe a couple days between 6 and 7, and then.
Yeah, there's probably from 5 to 6, there's probably at least a couple of days because it takes time. Like, because it's stated that there's like less than a month left in episode 5. A few days pass, and
Well, yeah, but Adam says
get episode
see you in
6.
1 month at the end of 6.
Was he? I thought he said see you in a few weeks.
No,
but...
no. Yeah, because the line goes, "A man only lives once. We'll see you in 1 month."
But like, yeah, but I think like, I mean, 1 month doesn't mean like, even if it's like technically a little less than 1 month.
True.
But
probably just more for the rhyming scheme.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of stuff we missed because it is 6 months between episode 1 and episode 8.
Yeah, I mean, there are definitely like some time skips. Like, definitely, I think like in the earlier episodes, there's probably bigger skips between that we just don't really acknowledge too much. Yeah, so like I imagine like it's a few days since 6, and then like probably because they have to train and whatnot, like is what takes up the time to like till when 8 hits.
Yeah, but yeah, so we come down and we come back into 7, and Charlie is uber depressed because Vaggie. I don't know. I don't know if it's. I guess it's lying by omission, but it never told Charlie that she was an exorcist. And
yeah,
but I mean,
I do like the conclusion that it like reaches by the end of the episode.
I do, and it makes sense why Charlie's upset because that is a very big thing to keep.
Yeah, like I can understand why she's upset, but I can also understand very much why Vaggie would not want to disclose it.
Yeah, it's like I just was killing your people, and now you're healing me up. I'm not telling you that because I don't want you to kill me.
Well, more of also, I just don't think she wanted to be that person anymore.
No, but it is still something she should have said, but I understand why she didn't.
Sure. But I don't disagree. It should be something that should be said, but
but in the middle of
it's certainly not an easy thing.
No, absolutely,
in my opinion.
No, absolutely not. But in the middle of Charlie trying to come to terms with it, and not knowing what to do because she feels as though she's put a target on everyone's back, Alistair comes up and
abuses the situation.
Yeah, absolutely abuses the situation to get a deal out of Charlie. Not for her soul, but for something. It left unto she basically whatever one thing he asks of her, she
for a favor.
Yeah, asks for one favor, and it can't be for killing someone. So my guess is it's probably going to be It's going to be standing. He's going to make her stand to the side in the big climax of whatever his thing is. That's my theory.
Or at least use probably
her magic. Either that or use her magic to break his contract.
Or something. I mean, considering that she is also... Like, it's built up in this episode, her ability to use song to convince people.
Oh, yeah!
And who else had a certain power to use that, and perhaps could be used for perhaps nefarious means?
Yeah, that's fair. Actually, I wonder if she gets the songs thing from Lilith.
That's what I was thinking.
But I guess we can talk about... I guess since we're bringing up Lilith in the regards of Alistair, I do genuinely believe Lilith is the one that owns Alistair's soul.
Yeah, I think that...
Because they've both been gone for 7 years. Yeah, you can't ignore 7 years. They're both gone for 7 years. Either that's the world's biggest cop-out.
7 years... Yeah, I'm like, 7 years is just a bit too specific for both of them.
Yeah. And it is, as soon as Charlie puts an advertisement about this, that Alistair shows up, and it's pretty heavily implied that Heaven can see what's going on in Hell, because there's no other explanation for why Adam knows that Angel Dust is a porn star, unless he's watching that, because how else would he know?
there's really no other explanation.
I do like that it's heavily implied that Adam must be watching some of the adult films in hell, because there's really no other way he should know that. Because, like, how else would he know that? Not know who Alistair was, but know exactly who Angel Dust was.
Yeah, I mean, also it's he's a lot like Adam's a lot more raunchier, like I think, like in comparison to like the other Heaven characters. So yeah, that also checks.
Yeah, and so we're going with this. So yeah, so he makes a deal with Charlie to give her the information that he knows about angels, which is that they can die, in exchange for a favor that he does not say what it will be, and somebody tells me it'll die. I mean, this is definitely a Chekhov's gun. It's going to be important later.
Oh yeah, it is.
You can't just put a deal on the table with the man who you've been warned about making deals against, and then not have that be critical to the plot going forward.
Oh yeah, no. Like it's definitely something that has to be under serious consideration for when it's gonna show up.
I also don't. I do find it interesting, and just not to derail too far that, but with deals and stuff, I do find it interesting that everyone absolutely despises Valentino, partially because of what he does for Angel and owning Angel's soul, but not a lot of people talk about how the fact that Alistair is just as cruel. I mean, not on the same level, not on doing the same things, but is a horrible person and also owns multiple people's souls. And it feels like we just never really talk about the fact that Alistair is genuinely evil. I don't feel like we talk about that enough. Like, he's not a good person.
Oh yeah, no, I've never said he.
I know. I see a lot of people are like who see Alistair as like good, and it's like you would be the type to be manipulated by him. Not like you specifically, just but those people who seem to who seem to think Alistair's going to turn in the end. I don't see him willingly converting to good unless something major happens.
I don't know. It's yet to be seen. I don't think it's impossible. It's just not going to be easy.
No.
But I do think that at least because Alistair is more of like a behind the scenes puppeteer sort of person. So it could just be that it's not as known because he doesn't really make it public,
Yeah, but do you think Charlie knows the exact details of Husker and Alistair and Nifty and Alistair? Because I don't think she'd be as okay with Alistair if she knew that Alistair literally owned their souls.
Yeah, no, I don't think she does, nor do I think he advertises it. It's like even when Mimsy was there.
Yeah. He waited until she left.
She mentions. I know she mentions that he's always been around, but I don't think she knows that he's under contract with him.
Yeah, I think. Well, it's but then I think Husker told Angel. I'm surprised Angel didn't immediately go to Charlie and said, "Yo, this is going on, and I don't think this is good."
Well, I don't think. Here's the thing: Husk never specified who it was that he was under lock and key for. He just said that he was under lock and key.
Oh, I wonder
because we're privy
in the contract that he can't say it.
No, because we're privy to the song.
Yeah, that's true. I wonder if he can't say it.
Because we know because we're privy to seeing the visuals with the song, but he's just singing in real life.
That's true. I wonder if part of the contract is that they can't tell anyone. That way, Alistair stays in the dark. Because that would seem like a security he would do.
It might. Yeah, I think it depends on the contractor because very much we know Angel's contract.
Yeah.
Very loud and very proud of what it is and who owns him.
But yeah, specifically for Alistair. No, but specifically Alistair's souls he owns. I think he might want to try and make it so they can't say.
Yeah, I feel like he would.
Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, he's able to in Charlie's moment of weakness, he is able to get her to shake on a deal, and tells him that he knows that angels can die, and then Charlie goes and tells Baggy, and we get one of my favorite scenes in the show where Baggy I think I don't remember if Serpentis comes out outright says, "Oh yeah, they told me," but it is stated that the Egg Boys knew, and Baggy turns to Serpentis and he's like, "You knew," and Serpentis like, "What? They say insane shit all the time," and then it just pans to the Egg Boy. He says, "Bank accounts are a scam created by the shadow government." See?
Yeah, that's. I'm not gonna dig too deep into that, but that is very pointed commentary.
I just think it's a whole. I thought it was just hilarious. I thought it was just like a crack. It was just to show that they're like the crackpot theorists. I thought it was. I felt like it was just played off as a joke.
Yeah, no, that is exactly it. And I mean, even if it wasn't, it may be more based off of something else. If at all my inkling on what it maybe is supposed to represent is correct at all, yeah, that's a thing that's been around since like 20s, and it's not a true thing in the slightest. I'm not gonna dig into what it is or anything.
You and I need to talk about it later because I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'll tell you after. It's not something for like a podcast thing.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's fine. But yeah. So, Vaggie goes off to meet Carmine to get Carmine to tell her how she killed the angel, and Charlie and Alistair go off to Cannibal Town to try and get an army to fight with, and we get two songs pretty back to back. We get another duet with Vaggie and Carmine.
As they're training and whatnot.
Yeah, as Carmine's kind of kicking Vaggie's ass and explaining that. So I don't know if it's just it's solely you need angel weapons, or if it's you need angel weapons and you need to be fighting for something. Like it's not just you can kill them willy nilly. Like you have to be fighting for something. Like that's actually a part of it. What was your take on that?
Well, I think it really is just the angelic weapons, but partially that Vaggie needs to know what she's fighting for and whatnot, because she very much like, I don't want to say had been like kind of half weighing it, because I don't think she was, but just more of like due to like the shakeup in their relationship, her confidence has been kind of weighted on like what she's actually fighting for.
But I also think it is something to do with the fact that she is an angel, and that's how angels are trained, thought to be. Angels think themselves immortal, so she needs to actually kick that mindset and fight for real. Like this isn't a game anymore. Like you can die, and you need to take this serious.
Yeah, I'm sure that probably plays a part too.
Yeah. Yes. Sorry.
Very good.
Where are we going? Oh yeah, and then we get
Cannibal Town.
Cannibal Town, and I really love Rosie. I also do love that the somewhat subtle joke about Alistair's sexuality.
Yeah.
Which I seems to have. I don't know if maybe I'm just seeing it a little bit, but it does seem like it did go over some people's heads. Which is funny because the whole thing is that it goes over Alistair's head.
Well, I mean, it would go over his.
Yeah, because it wasn't a thing back then. But from his time,
more
it wasn't
also. It's more also just like those who aren't quite as interested in it, like don't tend to get more sexual references.
Well, yeah, no, so. He just didn't understand what Ace was. Like, I think that was also a comment on the fact that I think he died in around, I don't know specifically, but I want to say like around.
I think they said like it was. I think there was like a comic that's like it says like it's around like the 1920s, 1930s-ish or so.
Yeah, it's around the 20s and 30s. So really, Ace wasn't a term yet, so it makes sense why he doesn't get it.
Yeah.
But and then we get Charlie's first attempt at trying to convince the cannibals, and which is horribly derailed by Susan. Which
Susan.
But we then get free therapy for Charlie. I think it's the best way to describe that scene.
Yeah. No, it really, like, and it also helps that, like, I mean, despite being, like... Yes?
Hello?
Hello?
Did I lose you?
Was it cutting out?
I don't know. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I could hear you.
Cool.
I only lost you for a few seconds there.
Then we'll keep going.
Yeah, I guess what I was trying to say was, what was it? Oh, that, like, despite being, like, a cannibal, that Roxy, like, very much, or not Roxy, Rosie, very much has, like, an understanding for romance, like, just even based off of her first line and whatnot, like...
Yeah. That's fair. What are your... So, there was a question, people seem to be debating on whether the cannibals in Cannibal Town are hellborn or sinners. What do you think?
Gosh, I honestly don't know. I feel like there are probably at least, like, some of each, I'd imagine.
Yeah.
I can't imagine it's all one, like, all specifically one or the other.
I feel like it's majority sinners, because, like, I think people are ignoring the fact that cannibalism probably would put you in hell. It seems like a big no-go.
Definitely. Yeah. Well, and also, who's to say that some don't fall to the vices of, like, hell as well once they get there?
Yeah. Yeah, I think just the argument and the opposite is that it's weird that they all look the same. But I think like the way it's been described is that your appearance in hell and heaven is based on how you lived in life. And so, yeah, I imagine if they're all there for the same thing, they probably all are going to have similar traits.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. I feel like it could go either way, but...
I mean, you know, like, if we want to get real specific about it, there were some loan sharks that were just literally sharks.
Yeah.
So...
I think canonically the reason Alistair is deer-like is that he was confused for a deer and was shot by a hunter, and that's how he died. Because he was out burying a body.
That's what I've read as well.
Yeah. Like, Angel Dust is a spider because he was part of the mafia. Those are the only two I know, for sure.
Yeah. But I think because they're also, like, the two characters who have gotten, like, extra stuff outside of the show prior and whatnot.
True. Yes.
But, yeah, like, I think just also sometimes just, like, background characters as what they are, background characters.
Yeah.
If they want to have them have a common design theme, they just can.
I also think, like, we need to respect the fact that they were designed to be fodder, and really, I don't think we need to be too in-depth with our fodder design.
Yeah. No, it's like trying to say that, like, oh, but every single Marine in One Piece has a very unique design. I'm like, there are definitely a ton of Marine grunts who were definitely killed in some arcs due to the actions of the story.
Yeah, I feel like they're just there to be meat shields, so it makes sense why they didn't put too much effort. But yeah, back to where we were going with this. Basically,
but, like, you can't ask, like, someone to make, like, a unique character from, like, every single background.
No, and I actually appreciate the fact that they have a similar design, because I do like that Rosie and Alistair fit in with all the cannibals and everyone look like they're straight out of the 1920s. I do like that it's a design choice.
Yeah,
which then fits into their song. I think it's Ready for This. Yeah, which I do like, because while they're in the old-timey looking town, it feels like an older style musical song.
Mm-hmm. It does.
Which honestly, I think Ready for This is my number one favorite song, seems to be a very unpopular opinion. I don't know why, because it slaps.
It's definitely not my favorite. Like, I can definitely understand, like, the opinion of, like, those who might put it lowly and whatnot. Just, like, if it isn't, like, per se, their musical taste. Like,
Yeah.
let me put it this way. Toxic, as, like, just from a song perspective, is not my taste, and thus
Poison, you
goes
mean?
towards, like, the bottom. Yeah, Poison. Goes, like, towards the bottom of my list, but it's by no means a bad song.
Yeah. I think the only song that I would list as not great would be A Happy Day in Hell. And that's just because it's your generic musical intro song.
And, like, that one is very much, like, musical and intro song. Just as the way it is, like, with the ending song, I'm not too, like...
Oh, actually,
very much is wrapping things up.
Finale in a whole is not the best, but there are some parts of Finale which slap.
Oh, like, I'm not saying there aren't parts, but just, like, looking at it as a whole.
Yeah. I do like that Finale is a reprise of the beginning, which I again, if you give me a good reprise, like, reprises tend to be my favorites, because it's taking what you know and twisting it, and I love that.
That is totally fair.
I am a simple man. But yeah, we get Charlie's big song. And this is really just Charlie's big song, where she comes into the responsibility that has been thrusted on her, but also thrusted on her by her own choice.
In some ways, her own choice. In some ways, I mean, not to say that it like she doesn't want this, but...
Oh, I think it's very clear that she's not super thrilled about it, but it is something that she has done.
Well, I know, like, I get she's worried about it, and that's, like, a normal humanistic fear, but I just more mean by, like, that Alistair is trying to use it.
Oh, yeah. I also do love that it is framed that the song is what's helping, but really, let's be honest, they were all really hesitant until Alistair said that they could eat the corpses, they could eat the angel corpses, and then they were immediately on board.
Yeah.
Charlie did not do much for that, but it is still nice that she had a really good song to herself. Or not really, I mean, not super to herself, but better than most people. Because there are a lot of people who did not, like Alistair, did not have a song to himself at all. Not a one.
But he does have a lot of good songs that he does
do. He does have a lot of good songs, but most of his songs are... I do love that him being antagonistic is the reason that he does have... His songs are all musical duels.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I do love that as a stylistic choice.
It works well.
Yeah. But yeah, so we get Charlie's big song where she's able to convince the cannibals to come fight for her, and at the end the episode kind of wraps up with Charlie and Baggy making up and reconciling and recognizing that while with Baggy apologizing, and it's just touching that they were able to overcome this. I do like that this was just like a one episode issue. Like they didn't they let it have its stay, but they didn't let it overstay its welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to start up the next episode?
Yeah, I mean, the finale is, like, a lot of fighting. Gosh, it's still one of those things where I'm just like, I am not really sure on how to describe that.
Fighting,
there's a lot of fighting that happens.
Yeah, I think
there's
I think we can touch on
basically
the big parts of the fighting.
Yeah, because I mean, like, let's put it this way: there's the night before section, which is just like a lot of like basically kind of preparing to go into battle sort of things. So like, we get like a few like good touching moments. Like, I know at least for me, the one that comes to mind is Serpentius and like not Angel, Cherry.
Also, speaking of Serpentius and Cherry in the finale, right before he goes up and talks to her, you can see him talking to Charlie. Charlie getting really excited. Charlie running over to Baggy. Baggy getting really excited. Or Charlie talking to Baggy in the background. I think Baggy's the one that drags him over to Cherry.
That would make sense. But yeah. Was there any other pre
I would
going into the fight scenes?
Yeah, there was Alistair.
Oh yeah,
and
there's
Nifty.
a small. Oh, that one. I was thinking there's that at least small one line between
There's also the song between there's the little love ballad between Vaggie and Charlie.
Yeah, and then also this very small scene with Angel and actually I'm forgetting his name.
Husk.
Husk. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I do like. Yeah. I do really. I think the scene with Nifty and Alistair is the realest version of Alistair we've seen this entire season. I do love that. It is very. I think, as much as I want to say Alistair is just pure evil, I do think deep down, in his own weird way, a part of him cares about these people.
And I think that's why I said that's why I don't think redemption is off the table for him. It's just not going to be an easy road.
And it's not something he wants, I think. I don't think he wants it right now.
Yeah, at the moment he doesn't want it, but I do think there could be a way. It just depends on how the story develops.
Yeah. Yeah, and then we do get also I do love that I don't know if you know this, but caught it, but I do love that Angel Dust's pig's name is Fat Nuggets. I love that.
Yeah, I caught that. I don't quite
get the reference, but it's just a silly little name. Now my real question is, why is the pig in hell? What did the pig do to go to hell?
I mean, it could have just been born there.
True, but it's the only normal animal I think we've seen.
I mean, we see the cat-like creature and whatnot.
We do? Oh, well, Nifty, but not Nifty. No, Kiki, but Kiki's not really a normal cat.
Well, yeah, but I think it's close enough. I'm
fair. No, fair.
If there's something at least close enough to a cat, there's probably definitely at least something close enough to some other animals as well.
Fair. I think there are some other animals in Hell Boss. It's just Fat Nuggets is the closest thing to a regular animal we've seen in the show.
That's fair enough.
But yeah, where am I going with this? Yeah, so we have yeah, I do like that. Yeah, Charlie tells them they can do whatever they live however they want for the night, and when Angel Dust is still there and Husker calls him out for it, Angel Dust is like, no, this is how I want to live. I don't want to be the guy that's doing drugs 24/7 and drinking my life away
anymore.
Yeah, anymore. I do like that. You can see that the hotel is actually working. And we cut to Charlie and Baggie's cute little number, which is a reprise of More Than Anything. And I don't remember how we transitioned to the battle, but we transitioned to the battle. I don't think there's anything else.
Yeah, I think it just kind of hard cuts to the next day, and then the battle starts.
Yeah, yeah, the battle starts, and I do love how it's not always in one person. I like that it does go back and forth. It's sometimes the Angels are winning, sometimes the hotel's winning. We see Alistair and Adam fight, and we do see something very interesting with when in the fight. Alistair is overpowering Adam until Adam is able to get a shot off Alistair and break his staff, which I do wonder if that is an important thing to him, because as soon as that staff is broken, Alistair loses his radio effect. He starts speaking in a normal voice. I wonder if the staff maybe not the source of his power, but a good channeling for his power.
Yeah, it amplifies it?
Yeah, and I wonder if that staff is the thing he got in his deal with whoever owns his soul. Which would make even more sense if it's Lilith, because Lilith was known for her songs that empowered Hell. So it's given a
Mhm.
staff with the
And it would
radio.
and ability to empower voice.
Yeah, and it would make sense that he got his microphone staff from Lilith, which is what he traded
Mhm.
his soul for.
Yeah.
That's pretty interesting. But yeah,
It's
so
interesting how you can link a lot of the things in voice in like the series.
yeah, I actually had not
like, kind
caught
of
that
linked
until
together.
right this second. I did not catch the voice and Lilith line. That was a good connection. Yeah, and so yeah, as soon as the staff breaks, he seems to weaken a lot, and Adam gets a good shot on him, and Alistair just runs away. And so Adam goes back on the attack with Angelic Blast and is destroying a lot of stuff. And we then cut to we see what is it? I'm forgetting the name. Charlie and Baggy get on Razzle and Dazzle and charge at them, with one of Razzle and Dazzle dying. I don't know if we ever got an outright statement of which one of them died, but either Razzle or Dazzle is dead, which is really sad. But also we didn't really get to know them, so it's kind of left like it could have been sadder, but oh well.
Yeah, and to be honest, really, the killing the dog trope has never really worked for me in any medium, so it wouldn't have worked for me regardless.
Yeah, but we get Loot and versus Baggy, and with a really metal finale. Loot almost kills Baggy, but Baggy then gets the upper hand and traps Loot with her arm crushed under a boulder, and so Baggy can go after Adam, and instead of just accepting it, Loot just rips her arm off. Like, hard stop.
Yeah.
That was metal as hell.
It's just hard. It is. It definitely is. The other thing, I forget where it takes place. It's somewhere, like, within all of these battles going on is Serpentius' sacrifice.
Crap! That's what I was forgetting. It was right before the Razzle and Dazzle scene. Yeah, Serpentius goes, sees that Adam is back in the fight, so that Alistair must have lost, goes up, finally admits his feelings to Cherry Bomb and steals a kiss, and then gets into his air blimp thing and charges a death ray, and is unfortunately it takes
gets
too
zapped
long.
on a 1.
Yeah, he gets zapped on a 1's about to fire, and Adam just blinks him out of existence. We're talking like hardcore Super Smash Bros. Ultimate opening. Like, I mean, just blasted out of existence.
Yeah, no. Like, do you know what I mean by getting zapped out on a 1? Like,
no, I do not.
It means it only took 1 frame of animation to get rid of Serpentius.
Oh yeah. Also, this was the joke I was making, because Alex Brightman voices both Adam and Serpentius, so technically he killed himself.
Yeah.
That was the joke I was going for.
Oh, okay. I just forgot the name of the actor, so.
Yeah, Alex Brightman. Yeah, so Alex Brightman, Adam kills Serpentius, which then makes Charlie go on Razzle and Dazzle, and then Charlie and Baggy get separated. Baggy defeats Loot, and Charlie and Adam are fighting up on the top, and even though Charlie is going into her demon form, she's still losing until Lucifer shows up, and
that ends up mollywopping him.
It is just unfair. It is so one-sided, it's not even funny. Even though
I mean, he even makes a dig at him taking his 2 wives.
Yeah, so then that makes me real wonder: is the dig about his second wife that he gave Eve the fruit, or did he give Eve the fruit and then also sleep with Eve?
Well, I think it's more of just in a way that like he was able to tempt her in the first place.
Yeah, it was just weird that the second wife is where he did the bound chicka bow wow thing. Like, he took Lilith.
But yeah, because
Lilith was first.
Basically
yeah. It was just interesting.
Not that I think you would know the term, but he was cucking Adam.
Absolutely, he was. But yeah, I wonder if that was more like he was literally he literally cucked Adam twice, and that he slept with both of them, or if he took Lilith, married her, and then just gave the apple to Eve.
Mm-hmm.
I also wonder. So if we're following the Bible, it was I think it was Lucifer giving Eve the apple that got him kicked out, right? Or was it that he was dating Lilith?
Like, based off of the Bible.
I guess it's not really technically the Bible. It's the.
Gosh, I forget what point.
It's the.
Yeah, because like.
It's the.
I forget what it's based off of in particular.
It's the
like this.
Not the I don't remember. It's some not like official, but it's like it's not like the Bible, but it's like the Bible spin-offs. I don't remember the exact phrase for it. The but yeah, basically like whatever the story, because like technically the fall of Lucifer isn't actually in the Bible. It's in a side story to the Bible. Yeah. But yeah, either way, I think if I understand the story correctly, it was Lucifer. I think Lucifer was already on thin ice because he was with Lilith, but it was when he gave the apple to Adam and Eve that was the last straw. Because he wanted to prove to God that his creations were fallible and were not perfect, and so it is. I wonder what must be going through Lucifer's head to see that if it was Adam, if giving the apple to Adam and Eve is what made him fall. Seeing that Adam is the person that you lost your spot in heaven for is the one that is leading the charge against you, like that's gotta hurt in a special way.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It definitely is equal amounts of payback as well.
Yeah, like not only is it like, man, you stole my wife, I'm coming after you, but also, like that's gotta hurt. I don't know.
Oh, for sure.
But it also depends on if Lucifer was solely because like maybe he like was it he wanted the humans to have free will, or is that he just wanted to prove that God wasn't perfect? I don't know. I'm not here to judge on that one. I don't really know.
Yeah, who knows?
But continuing on, Lucifer starts wiping the floor with Adam, and then Adam, in a fit of rage, destroys the hotel, and goes on a whole monologue about how he's the first man and everyone should be kissing his nuts, and then suddenly, we see something pierce Adam, and piece of context that we forgot to give is that before the start of the battle, Charlie told Nifty to stab any angel she sees, and immediately and the joke of that is she immediately goes off and tries to stab Angel Dust, because Angel, but
because his name, his name's Angel.
But we cut back to going back to it. We see something pierce Adam, and then he falls over. And it's Nifty sitting on his back, stabbing him repeatedly over and over and over. And I love the freeze frame of.
I just more find it. I more love that.
Go for it.
No. You go ahead. I'll get to it afterwards because it's the line that's in the report that I love.
Yeah, I love the like if you actually pause when it cuts back to the reactions of everyone, like everyone is very concerned and weirded out, and then you just have Vaggie, who is the happiest I think I have seen her the entire show. Like she is thrilled, mouth open, glimmer in her eyes. Like this is the best day of her life.
I mean, to be fair, Adam is pretty horrible.
Adam is pretty horrible, but I love that she's the only one that is super thrilled by this. Everyone else is concerned or grossed out, and she's sitting here having the time of her life.
I mean, yeah, he's a horrible boss, I have to imagine as well.
Absolutely.
So,
but I just love I just love those reactions. All right, what were you gonna say?
Oh, I just more of like. Basically, in the aftermath to that, it's the the news reporter being like, and so the janitor was able to kill Adam, and when asked for a quote, she said, I was told by Charlie to stab him, so I stabbed him."
Yeah, I also do love the line where it's like Charlie and her crew actually didn't fuck things up for once. They were not useless little shits or whatever they called her, but I just love that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we could go into the reprise, which basically it's just a reprise of A Happy Day in Hell, and I love it. I love reprises. I'm a simple man. I have simple pleasures, but we also get more. We see the build up. We see the setup for the next season with the V's part of the song, which while I do like, it does really make me wonder if stuff was cut out from the finale, because their reaction is not warranted with what we saw. Like, they're over here celebrating, like they're over here saying that all of, like, the Overlord's status is now in question for everyone, and that, like, something major, they imply, like, something major shook up everything. Like, the Overlords are now out of power. But the only Overlord in that fight was Alistair, and no one but them knows Alistair was defeated.
Well, I feel like it's bad information that you could use to mess with things.
Yeah, it's just they make some.
I agree.
It feels like something was cut and we missed. But I don't know.
It's either that it was cut and it's missed, or perhaps just a weird line. I couldn't tell you one way or the other.
But either way, it's definitely setting them up to be villains, be more major players next time. Which we can talk about later. But we also then cut to Alistair's portion of the song, which I love. Honestly, Bro almost died for his friends and then had a mental breakdown over it.
Yeah, but I do think we can just kind of start getting into it because we're practically at the end here.
All right, then one of the rumors I've heard is that in an interview, I know there was an interview with Amelie and Vivian Medrano, who made the show. And in that, I've seen it. I haven't found the clip yet, but I have seen some people talking about how in that interview it is stated that the next season will have the Bees as the major antagonist, and we will be more focused on why everyone is in hell. Like, we'll get character backstories and see, like, what they did to get them here.
Okay. Yeah, because I feel like that is, like, one thing that, like would also have good context is, like, how people ended up there and whatnot.
Yeah. So, yeah, we're gonna get that. And then, yeah, we have Alistair's part of the song, which I do love. Like, all right, I want your opinion on the verbiage, because like there's a big divide right now. Half the people, there's the line, great Alistair, Alistair altruist died for his friends. Like, do you think he, like, it's obvious that he's like being sarcastically reading a pretend headline if he had died. Do you think Alistair altruist is him saying his full name, or it's Alistair the altruist, like him sarcastically calling himself an altruist?
Gosh, I do not know. That is, I'd say until proven otherwise, both interpretations are fine to have.
Yeah, I feel like both are valid.
Cannot say really one way or the other. Yeah. Like, unless proven, like, until proven otherwise, I really can't comment, like, one way or the other on that sort of thing. Because I'm like,
I think I've seen the subtitles put a comma, equally, which then implies that.
Yeah, but also the subtitles have been wrong a lot in the songs.
Yeah.
Like, so... I've read the subtitles and, like, they aren't always correct. So I'm like,
it could go either way.
Like that. Yeah, I'm like, that requires that I have absolute 100% faith in what those subtitles are, and which
I can't.
I don't.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we had the Alistair altruist. Yeah, it is heavily setting up Alistair to be a major antagonist. We also get him talking about how he wants to... and there's another piece of verbiage I wanted that ties into a theory that I will I'm going to write down for when we get to the theories portion. There was something he said that made people question it, like how literal is he being on that. Alright, so yeah, and then we cut Alistair rejoins up with the hotel gang, which part of that scene I love is that you can hear Lucifer say, "Oh, this guy," when Alistair shows up. But not only that, as soon as, like, in the frames before Alistair shows up, Husker is smiling. He is happy. As soon as Alistair shows up, he is frowning. He is upset.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It does. I love that they're being consistent on that.
Well, honestly, they actually are, like, pretty good at, like, throwing in those details in the background. Like, I didn't even see those things, but I can definitely see those happening.
Yeah.
I'm not, like, a super, like, let's watch the background for every single small detail that I can catch.
I am obsessed with the show, and I also scroll through the Reddit of the show a lot, and I keep finding cool stuff. But yeah, all right. So then we got 2 more scenes to talk about.
That is
and then
perfectly
we can
fine.
Finally, finish up with the overall plot portion. Yeah, we are on an hour of this portion, so this video is going to be like 3 hours long.
It's perfectly fine.
We're going for a new record, baby. All right. So, yeah, we cut our next our first.
It makes up for all the lost time that we've had.
Absolutely. So our first stinger is we see it is Emily and Sarah sitting in an office, and there's a bunch of noise.
Serpentious returns.
And Serpentious returns, having redeemed himself in his final act. For he did not do drugs. He did not. The only thing he stole was a kiss, and he stuck it to the man. He stuck it to the man, the original man. I've seen a joke that
perhaps you could even call him the master of something.
Yeah. I've seen that there was a joke that I've seen that the reason Serpentious made it to heaven is that heaven needs to have a balance of Alex Brightman. There can only be one. So when one died, another one took his place. There must only be one Alex Brightman in heaven at all times.
Well, what is Alex Brightman? The avatar of the universe?
Yes, the avatar of heaven, at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then our next, that really makes me think that every other character would have gone to any other person would have gone to St. Peter, but the fact that the first redeemed person is delivered straight to Sarah in her office really is someone saying, look at this, here is hard empirical evidence that you were wrong. Deal with it.
Yeah.
But, and then our last stinger is Lute, showing up and, talking to a mysterious person saying that their deal is over and that Adam is dead, and now if they want to stay in heaven, that, they need to go down and to stop their daughter, who is making a lot of trouble. And it's revealed that Lilith has been in heaven this whole time. And that is where the season ends. And that is a hell of a cliffhanger to leave it on.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. Alright. So finally, after 2 hours and probably about 20 minutes, we're finally at the song portion. We have finished part 2.
This'll probably go...
Oh, no, we haven't. No, we're not even at the
quicker.
songs. We finished the plot. We're now at characters.
Oh, I feel like we honestly commented about
I feel like we've talked about the characters enough.
The plot.
Yeah, there's really no other character that I feel like we need to discuss. Yeah, I think I've said everything I need to. We can talk about the songs now. Because this soundtrack is killer. I love it. Let's see. We have. All right. What do you think is your top 3 songs? I think we'll just do our top 3.
Probably tied between first and second is and I don't remember the song title, so forgive me.
I can give you the song titles. You can describe them.
Yeah, it's the so probably would be either between Loser Baby or the Baggy and I'm forgetting.
Carmine. Is it Baggy and Carmine 1 or Baggy and Carmine 2?
Carmine song from episode 2.
Alright,
the first one from episode 2.
Yeah, it's Fight for You or something like that.
Yeah, those ones are. Yeah, those 2 are probably very close between first and second for me, and then third. Gosh, what. I'll have to get back to you on that one. I'm not too sure what my third place is.
Alright, so my top 2, I know my 1 and I know my 2, and I have a tie for 3. So my first one is Ready for This, and my second one is You Didn't Know, which is Ready for This is Charlie's song for getting the cannibals on her side, and You Didn't Know is the courtroom song. if you can't tell, I really like musicals, and those are the two like most musical-like songs in here. I like musicals, and then my tie for third is either Finale or Loser Baby because I love Loser Baby, but Finale is such a good reprise of the like it takes it's got I do like I like my songs when they have a lot of changes in energy, and Finale constantly, like depending on who's singing, the energy changes. So like we go from like kind of an upbeat song at the start, and then we quicken it up for when we get to Vox, and we get for Vox and Valentino, and then we slow it down very dramatically for when we get to Alistair, and then we come back to where we started, but key changed for the last part of the song. And then Loser Baby is just Loser Baby. It's a really touching song.
Yeah, I think probably You Didn't Know would probably be my third as well.
Yeah, also I feel like the line if hell is forever, then heaven must be a lie. I feel like that unlocked something in a lot of people. I think that's one of my most favorite lines from the show is like if hell is forever, then heaven must be a lie.
And if we were talking about fourth and fifth, probably Stayed Gone and Respectless. I'm not sure what order it would go in, but probably those two would be fourth and fifth for me.
Yeah, fourth and fifth. I gotta throw on. It depends on what. Usually, I like the faster songs, but there are times when it really just depends. Because like I feel like the only, not to say dud, but yeah, the only real dud is the opening song. Every other song, I think I would have on my playlist. But yeah, they're all bangers and they all slap.
Yeah, I can definitely like see the appeal on a lot of them. Some of them aren't personally my taste, but I don't think they're bad songs by any means.
Yeah. All right. I think we've talked about a lot of the songs. Is there anything else you want to say about any specific song?
I think Poison's double-edged lyrics are like really, really good.
Oh yeah, I do.
Like I may not like the song like personally just because it's not my type of music, but yeah, it's really, but those lyrics are like oof, with the visuals as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're absolutely right on that one. Trying to think if there's any other big song. Like I've mentioned that I was frustrated with how Hell's Greatest Dad ended. I wish they had recorded at least one version of the song where Mimsy didn't interrupt the ending.
Yeah, that definitely is like that song is good until like Mimsy shows up.
Yeah, basically. I get it. It's a funny joke, but at least on the cast album, give me a version of it completed. More Than Anything is a beautiful song. I don't have any complaints about that song. I think I've said everything I need to say about the songs. I think we could transition to official news if you're ready.
Yeah, we can get into the wrap up for.
Yeah, so we got official news. The biggest news is that season 2 is around when the first season started airing. I think after the first 1 week after the first 4 episodes dropped, we got an announcement from Erica Henningsen that they were in the studio recording lines for the second season. We know for sure that there's a 2-season deal that was signed. We are only confirmed 2 seasons, but I think there are plans to do more if they can they can do it. And I have a feeling that since number 1 right now, I think I have a feeling we'll get those other seasons. Since it is number 1 in animation, I have a feeling they'll let them do
as long as it's able to bring in like. Yeah, I mean, as long as it's able to bring in like I'd say around like equal numbers of season 1, or at least like just like at least like fairly comparable. Yeah. I'd say a season 3 at least is guaranteed.
Yeah. So then we talked about the rumor I had about Valentino and Vox being the main antagonists. I guess, yeah, that's the only rumor I had. So we'll jump into the theories, and I have a couple theories that I wanted to talk about. All right, so with Serpentius going to heaven, do you think the Egg Boys went with him?
I'd hate to say, but I don't think so.
That is so sad, because he loves those things, and now he is stuck. I think the only one... that probably means that the only one left now is... what was it? Frank was his name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's the only one left, because he was the only one not in the ship at the time.
Yeah, I wonder if there'll be, like, I mean, either they write it so that the boys do come back in some way,
Or he's able to just make them again, because I think he can create them. Or summon them or something.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Like, I don't fully know, but I do think it's, like, a big part of his, like, I don't want to say, like, gimmick, but it is, like, a big part of, like, how he's able to play off as a character,
Yeah.
so it is important for him to have something there, in a way.
Yeah, yes.
But we'll have to see. There are
yeah,
definitely multiple ways that you could probably approach it.
I've seen some really cute art that if the Egg Boys do go to heaven, that they actually hatch into chickens. I think that would be...
They're like baby chicks following them?
Yeah. I think that would be adorable. Alright. So, one thing I mentioned earlier was, in Alistair's song, was he made the mention of clipped wings. He said his wings had been clipped, or he needed to unclip his wings. People are taking that line, like, obviously, I think it's obviously, like, it is, I think it's meant to be taken as though, like, it's a turn of phrase, like, he's under control, he wants to have his freedom back. But
yeah, I think it's just a turn of phrase.
Yeah.
I think it's just very much meant to be a metaphor.
Yeah, I've seen...
I don't think you should look...
Yeah, I was like, could he be an angel that fell and now turned demon? Alright, I just wanted your take on that line.
like, unless I'm given more evidence to prove otherwise, I think it's just a term of phrase.
Yeah. Alright, yeah, then we get to Lilith. What do you think Lilith's deal with Adam was? Like, why is she in heaven? What was... Like, what happened between... First of all, what happened between her and Lucifer? Like, do you think it was the fact that Lucifer gave up after he got shot down by heaven, and she just couldn't give up?
Like, as much as I'd love to speculate on what Lilith's, like, motives are, we have just, like, so little to go off of.
True.
Like, and I mean, like, infinitesimally minimal amount of, like, information to go off of that I can't, like, be, like, one way or the other. I'd love to give something, but I'm just also, like, I don't have too much of an information of what Lilith is as a character other than, like, what her role was in the past and what it means to Charlie.
Yeah, and alright, do you think that...
we don't know...
Alright, you can finish what you're saying, and I'll ask the question.
Yeah, I was just gonna be like, but I don't know, like, what her relationship with Lucifer is like. The only small thing that I can say is that, like, it definitely went bad somehow, but that how is, like, so up to interpretation, because it could literally be anything at the moment.
Yeah. Alright, and then do you think that she was intentionally trying to sabotage Charlie and Lucifer's relationship by separating them? Because it is weird that the one shot we have of Charlie and Lucifer as a kid is Lilith dragging her away from Lucifer.
At least from the perspective of either Charlie or Lucifer, I'd say yes.
Yeah.
But I don't know the context of what Lilith had.
I know. I'm sorry, I just theorizing. We're in the
No, it's all good. No, it's all good. Like, based off of context that we have currently, I'd agree that it does seem like that.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of evidence that you could show up later that could, like, entirely turn that scene on its head.
Yeah. Alright, then if the information... go for it.
Sorry, no, I was just like looking at it, like, just I look at things like from a storyteller perspective, like for anything that could happen in the future.
Yeah.
And it's just like there's such a lot of leeway that they have right now that just trying to pinpoint something would just trying to be picking a needle out of a out of a haystack.
Fair. Yeah, and then if the rumor that I've heard that the V's are the antagonist of the next season, it makes me concerned that we're going to kind of drop the plot of redemption, or like have less focused on the heaven side of redemption. Because if the V's are the villain, where does Lilith fall into this?
Well, I mean, who's to say that it isn't something that's brewing up in the background?
True. Like, or I wonder if that's like trying to
do it like it is,
like a setup for a season 3. Like Lilith might be like the bait. Like,
yeah. Like I feel like that's something like you could start building it up,
yeah,
and still have it be like a focus, because like that's kind of what the V's felt like to me this season, like that they were being built up for something.
True. Yeah, and I do think, I really hope we get more information on Alistair and
like I did have that, because like my feeling of like where the antagonist goes, like excluding rumors, was either that it's gonna go the V's route or it's gonna go the Lilith route, and just the Lilith route feels a bit too quick. Like if you wanted to end a series in 2 seasons, sure, go that route. But like looking for more long term, the V's seem to be like the more likely thing, because it's like somewhat a step up, but it's like also dealing like with a problem that's within Hell itself this time, instead of it being an outside force. Usually when you're like wanting to like do like, especially since we're in this 2-sided approach, since we did a heaven side, it is better to have a more hell focused side.
I think that's fair
to combat it.
I had another question. What was it? Poop. I was gonna be with Serpentius. I do think part of that rumor about the V's that I saw, I think it also is confirmed that we will see. We will see maybe not a whole bunch, but we will see some scenes of Serpentius in heaven and like what's going on with that. Which I really,
like I said, I feel like I feel like that's in part gonna link into like the Lilith stuff in some form or fashion.
Yeah.
Like whether it wants to or not, since they're both on the heaven side of things, it allows you to have that like run as a B plot if you need in some cases of an episode. And you have established characters there that you can run with now.
Yeah. Alright, so we got that.
And it also helps that you have a character who very much mirrors Charlie, so it keeps the tone of the show similar.
Yes. Crap. I had another question that I didn't write down because I was going to ask it immediately when we were done with this one, and now I can no longer remember what it was. I really should have written it down. Yeah. Well, I don't think it's coming back.
That's just gonna potentially. Yeah, I'm like, I think that question, sadly, like unless you remember it afterwards, it's
if I remember it, I'll ask. If I remember it, I'll try and save it for whenever we get to Hell of a Boss.
Yeah.
Actually, we could do the first season of Hell of a Boss and just wait to the second one until the next episode's done.
Yeah. No, that's. I was like, yeah, no, I'm like, we could just do the first season next, obviously.
It is funny, because even Hell of a Boss has some Broadway names in it. Because I know, like, Barrett Wilbert Reed is one of the main characters. They got James Monroe Iglehart as another character. Alex Brightman's also in that. Did you ever watch The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy?
I've watched, like, a few episodes, yeah.
Yeah, they got the voice actor for Billy from that to be one of the main characters. They got some decently big names.
Yeah, isn't that the same voice actress who did Jimmy Neutron? I forget.
I don't think so.
I could have sworn I remember seeing a review, not a review, but like a podcast interview with the with her voice actress, and I believe.
Well, she might be in it, but no, it was some older guy who was the voice for Billy.
Okay.
But yeah.
Okay, yeah, I just knew that like she like because I believe she said she was like working on one of the two. I forget which one, but
yeah, if you can give me a name, I can take a look afterwards.
It's Debbie Derry.
Or Debbie Derry.
Yeah, it's
Here, if you can vamp for a minute, I will look it up. You said Jimmy Neutron?
Yeah, I mean, I'm like on the page currently myself. Yeah, let me just let me do the good old find button instead of trying to search around. Or nope. Okay, maybe I was just imagining it. Could have been. Yeah, must have been something else I was mistaking it for. Felt like there was some project that had like a lot of old school like voice actors on it, but can't remember what.
I'm not sure.
Like I said, don't worry about it. It was like something that I feel like I remember hearing, but that was also like about 2 years ago at this point. Probably somewhere around there.
Yeah. This is I have no idea how long we've gone for now, but at least 2.5 hours, I think.
Yeah, but it was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was. I'm finally glad to record something again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Should we just end it?
Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I got for this.
So
thank you all so much for watching.
Join us back again, where we'll probably cover Hell of a Boss sometime in the near future.
Yeah, and I
can't promise when.
Percy Jackson for sure is in our future.
Yes.
But yeah,
And then, other than that, thank you so much for watching, and join us back next time for whatever we're covering next.
Hopefully it won't be another half a year before I remember to upload this.
Yes.
Alright. Bye-bye.